The lights have dimmed at the Stadio de Luz, and they've shown, as you would expect, about 65 replays of Anatoly Trubin's late goal that made it 4-2 when these two teams met just 19 days ago. And if I was in charge of all the video and the audio at the Stadio de Luz tonight, that's definitely what I'd be doing, Dean Ashton. I'd be making sure that Real Madrid and their supporters know exactly what they're walking into.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what they've got to draw upon, isn't it? That last experience that they had, in the right way, of course. Very different over two legs. But the way they played, with what happened in the game, I think the temperament of the Real Madrid players towards the end of the game also, I think if they can make it as difficult as possible, then of course they've got a great chance, and they've got genuine quality and a fantastic manager. So, of course, Real Madrid will be favourites, but you've got to think that it's going to be very, very difficult, especially in this first leg. Real Madrid will know that they will have to very much put on a terrific away Champions League performance to come away with something comfortable.
We know Bellingham's out for a while with a hamstring injury. It might be actually quite a significant period of time that he misses out on. We might not see him again till April. But in his absence, you look at that central midfield pairing of Güler, this Turkish wonder kid, and Schumain. It's not bad. I mean, goodness me, it's not a bad midfield pairing when you're without one of the best players in European football.
Yeah, Güler especially, 14 assists in all competitions this season, just shows you how creative he is and how well he's able to deliver from set plays or also from open play and find a pass into the forward players. So again, he's going to give you that. Tchouaméni, I think, can give a bit more. I actually think he should be more of a goal threat with his abilities. But I tell you what, he's brilliant at breaking up play. He's brilliant at starting attacks. It's the one thing you've really noticed with Real Madrid is no Toni Kroos and no Modric. Yeah. That is so difficult to replace. And how do you? Well, maybe in a different way. Maybe with the running power of the midfield that they currently have might be a different way to go about it.
It's a really good point that they're no longer around. They just seem like pieces of the furniture that will always be there, although Modric is still doing it in Serie A, having moved over there. There are goals going in elsewhere. Stevenage 0, Port Vale 1. Port Vale bottom of the pile, no winning 3, but they lead at the Lamex through Jayden Stockley. Down in League 2, Barnet 6 unbeaten, leads Swindon by a goal to 0 through Adam Senior's early goal. And Harrogate fighting for their lives right at the bottom of League 2. They're taking on Barrow tonight, themselves just in 20th, and Harrogate have the lead through Ellis Taylor up there in Cumbria. Yeah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, we should mention him as well, Dean Ashton. It's been a strange season for him. One, because he's had a couple of injury breaks and he's only just back from the second one, but also he's had the politics to deal with of Danny Carvajal throwing his toys out the pram by feeling like he's being elbowed out the way for a replacement. It must be difficult to deal with. You're coming into a country, you're learning the language, and you've got players who've got their backup because you're there.
Yeah, difficult, and not only just any player, but someone that's been as successful as Carvajal has been for Real Madrid, then what he says carries a lot of weight. But I think the most frustrating thing for Alexander-Arnold is those injuries, because he's not been able to show the best of himself. And I did feel as if Real Madrid would be a perfect place for him to showcase his abilities on the ball, and he's just not been fit enough to play enough games to show them the best of himself.
A massive tifo of a bald eagle has just been unfurled at one end of the Stadio de Luz. Of course, they are the Eagles, Benfica, and we've seen Vitoria, the eagle, flying around the stadium. Vitoria translates as victory, as you might imagine, into the English language. And that tifo has got to be 100 foot tall. It's right up to the top of the stand, opposite where the players are lined up and are just hearing the Champions League theme. A few whistles going around the stadium for the UEFA theme. Lincoln City have just taken the lead against Northampton Town in League 1. 13 unbeaten Lincoln under Michael Skubala. And Ryan One, once of Sheffield United. I'm not sure whether he's on loan there at Lincoln from the Blades, but he's given them the lead. And in the National League, Gateshead, they lead at FC Halifax Town through Kenton Richardson at the Shea. So the Champions League theme is played. The giant Champions League ball has been taken away from the centre circle, and the handshakes begin. And we can recap the team news for you again here on Talksport 2 ahead of kick-off. You are listening to Benfica versus Real Madrid in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2. Anatoly Trubin is the Benfica goalkeeper, the man that scored that dramatic late free kick to earn Benfica this playoff round tie. Amar Dedic, Tomas Araujo, Nicola Otamendi and Samuel Dahl at the back four from right to left. Frederic Arsnes and Leandro Barreiro are the holding midfielders. Then Gianluca Prestiani, Rafa Silva, having just arrived back at the club after a short spell at Besiktas, and Andreas Schelderup in behind top scorer Vangelis Pavlidis. For Madrid, Thibaut Courtois is the goalkeeper. Trent Alexander-Arnold, who we were just talking about, at right back. Antonio Rudiger, once of Chelsea. Dean Huyson, once of Bournemouth. And Alvaro Carreras, once of Benfica, in their back four. Federico Valverde, Arda Güler, Aurelien Tchouameni and Eduardo Camavinga behind Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior. So the pre-match pleasantries are almost done. Real Madrid wearing slightly unfamiliar change strip tonight. So used to seeing them in white. They're playing in a sort of mid-range blue strip tonight. It's kind of halfway between sky blue and royal blue. Benfica in their traditional red shirts and socks with white shorts, and Nicola Otamendi, such an experienced player, 38 years young. He's been at Benfica for the past 6 years after playing over 200 appearances for Manchester City. I would imagine he's a walking yellow card in occasions like this, Dean Ashton, but his experience could be vital.
Yeah, and he's still playing every game. I mean, he's played 42 games this season in all competitions, Otamendi. So he's a key component, and I think very much he is that connection between Jose Mourinho and the pitch and the players. I think he would understand what the manager wants, setting certain standards and aggression in the way that his team plays. I think Jose Mourinho has always wanted that part of the game from his side, and I think Otamendi brings that, as well as probably more quality than he's given credit for, because of maybe the way he plays the game. And like you said, just pick up the odd yellow card.
Just one or two. Salford 0, Newport County 1. I was watching Salford lose gamely to Manchester City in the FA Cup on Saturday, but they've gone behind to the bottom side in League 2. Ryan Delaney has given the Exiles the lead. You heard the sound of the referee's whistle. We are underway at the Estadio de Luz. Benfica kicking from left to right as we look, as they go past the frame of Jose Mourinho, stood at the edge of his technical area. It was carried forward by Amar Dedic, their right back. They tried to win a throw level with the 18-yard line and Real Madrid's penalty area, but it's given as a Real Madrid throw. Woking equalised at Sutton United in the National League. That's 1-1 at Gander Green Lane. And Real Madrid give the ball away. Dedic wins it back. Barrera is caught by Camavinga as he tried to work the ball in field. An early free kick, and we already know what Arsnes can do with free kicks from pretty much this sort of range. This was where he delivered for the goalkeeper, Dean Ashton.
It's pretty much an identical position from where Trubin got his head on it. I don't know, couldn't Araujo play the rush goalkeeper position and let Trubin just go up? That would be fun.
So let's see what they can achieve from this free kick, which is sent in by Arsnes, headed out to the edge of the area, flicked back up into the air. They try and bring it down at the edge of the 6-yard box through Pavlidis, but Real Madrid hack it clear, but it's headed back towards the edge of the box. Rudiger heads it out, comes out to the edge of the area in a wild swing by Gianluca Prestiani, goes well over the crossbar. It's a goal kick to Real Madrid. 1.5 minutes gone, 0-0. Chesterfield have just taken the lead in League 2 against Gillingham. 4 unbeaten Chesterfield, starting the night in 8th, just 1 point outside the playoffs. Sam Curtis with the goal for them. First long ball downfield for Real Madrid, gets nowhere near Vinicius Junior. And the hero, Trubin, gets a huge round of applause as he collects it. He had a bit of a zero moment against Santa Clara when they were 2-0 up, letting the ball go right through his legs and in for a goal back for Santa Clara, but ultimately it didn't matter. Monaco have taken an early lead against Paris Saint-Germain, that all-French tie. Folarin Balogun, who's played in the EFL before now, has got the opening goal in the first minute at Stade Louis II. Benfica coming forward through the centre circle. And Chouameni trying to make a nuisance of himself. It's worked out to Dedic, but referee's already brought play back for a foul on Rafa Silva, who was taken out by Chouameni as he made his way over halfway, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I mean, as you would expect, intensity and tempo being excellent from Benfica right at the start of this game. Meaning Real Madrid have made a couple of mistakes when they've got onto the ball. Mbappe that time was the one with a loose pass, and then Rafa Silva was away from Chouameni.
Here's Amar Dedic at right back, pushing forward to the midway point of the Real Madrid half. Comes infield, Arsenes lays it off to Barreiro. Now back out to the right-hand side of Prestiani. Quick ball in field. Gets it back, then flicks it further in field. Arsenes back out to the right-hand side. Great football. Arsenes to the dead ball line. Pulls it back, and a desperate clearance from Rudiger. Helped out by Camavinga. Put it out for a throw to Benfica. Super start from the Eagles. 0-0.
Yeah, and a big roll from Rudiger to his teammates. That was too easy. Lovely football, like you said. But still too easy to get down the side for Arsenes.
Prestiani picks it up right-hand corner of the penalty area, tries to flick it down the right-hand side of the box for Dedic, but now Arsenes, another lovely swinging cross that Shelderup will keep in play left-hand side for Benfica, faced up by two Real Madrid defenders. Plays it back into midfield. Rafa Silva just tidies up and calms down. It's given back to Shelderup on the left-hand side, manages to nick it in field to Rafa Silva. Now Barreiro up to the edge of the area, little flick trying to get Rafa Silva in, but another somewhat desperate clearance from Real Madrid. This is a good start, somewhat akin, Dean Ashton, to what you were talking about from the first half of the previous meeting between these two.
Yeah, not only is the intensity there, the quality is also lovely. 1 and 2 touch play by Benfica down both sides, almost creating opportunities. Like I said, it was Rudiger. Just a little note to his players: we're in a cauldron here, and you have to start with that mindset. The focus has to be there right from the first whistle.
Lovely crossfield ball from Arsenes to find Dedic, and then Prestiani is dispossessed by the former Benfica player Carreras, the left back for Real Madrid. Plays it out to the left wing, and Vinicius Junior having a run at the Benfica backline as he cuts in from the left-hand touchline. Gets to about 30 yards out, very little support, certainly nobody ahead of him. Goes backwards of square to Valverde, who looks for Mbappe, but the pass was poor. Got away from the toe end of Mbappe's boot. 5 minutes gone, no score, but no shortage of tempo.
No, really poor from Real Madrid. Also, Valverde there just playing that away from Mbappe, gifting it back to Benfica. Vinicius Junior on the break, looks up, absolutely no support.
Lovely header in field from Pavlidis, and Rafa Silva gets away from Camavinga, tries to flick it forward to Prestiani. Cleared away, though, by Real Madrid and Carreras. And Camavinga once again looks to the left wing, and Vinicius, who's got Dedic backpedaling now. Vinicius, again, is trying to do it all himself. Everyone's hanging back behind him. Vinicius trying to weave his way past Dedic, who sticks to his task really well. Looks at the referee wanting a free kick as he goes down, and then he's dispossessed by Camavinga, and Real Madrid have it back. Mbappe scheming his way up towards the edge of the area, runs into 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 Benfica shirts, and then it's brought away by Barreiro, but he gets dispossessed as he gets into the centre circle. It's harem-scarum stuff in the Estadio de Luz early on, 0-0.
It is, it's terrific, is what it is, from both sets of players. Losing the ball and winning it back, and vice versa. Both teams, Real Madrid scrapping to get up to the speed of the game.
Stevenage 1, Port Vale 1 in League 1. Daniel Phillips with the equaliser for Stevenage. Crewe 0, Fleetwood 1. Down in League 2, Fleetwood just 1 win in 11, but Mark Helmer's given them the lead. And Karel Lisby with another goal for Peterborough as they lead at Barnsley in League 1. Peterborough in 10th, had back-to-back wins before a defeat at the weekend, but they're just on the fringes of the playoff pack. Benfica snuck into these playoffs with that 4th goal that got them above, well, I'm going to say Roberto De Zerbi's Marseille. It's not Roberto De Zerbi's Marseille anymore. That club's seemingly fallen apart since the failure to qualify for this knockout round. But they're giving a good account of themselves. It's only the fourth meeting that they had, Benfica and Real Madrid, when you consider their star-studded European history. To have only met 4 times before tonight is a real surprise.
It's incredible sometimes, isn't it, how that works with such giants of European football. But they're making up for it.
They are. Great start to this game. 7.5 minutes gone to this goal as Benfica having to do some defending as Real Madrid have a bit of sustained possession in the centre circle through Rudiger, and then it's worked out by Huysen to Vinicius Junior on the left wing. Midway point of the Benfica half. Camavinga forced to go back to Huysen on halfway. Gave a good account of himself at Bournemouth when he was there last season. Now out to the right hand side, and it's Trent Alexander-Arnold with a fully 60-yard ball crossfield to pick out Vinicius. Beautifully done. Camavinga strokes it back to the edge of the centre circle where Rudiger's waiting. Burton 1, Rotherham 0 in League One. Tyrese Shade for Burton. Portsmouth lead at Charlton through Terry Devlin in one of the 2 championship games tonight. And the League One leaders Cardiff City 1-0 up against AFC Wimbledon through Joel Colwill. And Wickham elsewhere in League One, a 1-up at managerless Exeter City. Fred Onyedinma for the Chairboys. Gary Caldwell left Exeter for Wigan a couple of days ago. Throw to Real Madrid, 0-0, 8.5 gone on Talksport 2. Real Madrid possession just inside the Benfica half with Dean Huysen, and he'll stroke it out to Vinicius Junior, who's hugging the left-hand touchline a lot in these early stages. Carreras plays it down the left-hand side of the area for Camavinga, works it back to Mbappe, edge of the box, instant hit, and it's claimed at the second attempt by Trubin. It was too hot to handle at first from the French striker Mbappe, but he clutched hold of it in the end. The shot was straight at him, 0-0.
Yeah, much better from Real Madrid. Good work down the left-hand side. Carreras on the overlap and then in towards Camavinga, and that's what they need. They need runners beyond Mbappe to create the space. He cut it back for Kylian Mbappe, who, like you said, in one movement was swivelling away and striking really well. It just bounced in front of Trubin, and as it went into his arms, it kind of went past his hands and into his bicep and then just got away from him, but no one following in.
It's the voice of Dean Ashton, former Norwich, West Ham and England striker, alongside me, Ian Danter, here at Talksport 2 in the Champions League. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0, nearly 10 minutes gone. Stevenage have turned it around in very short order against Port Vale in League One, 1-0 down, now 2-1 up. Former Luton striker Harry Cornick has got the second. If he has a son, I hope he calls him Harry Cornick Jr. Benfica surrendering possession to Real Madrid. Huysen just over the halfway line, works it out to Vinicius, again on the left wing for the Madridistas. Huysen now strokes it back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, just to the right of the centre circle. Allowed to size up his options before Pavlidis closes down the space. Out to the right wing, and Valverde tucked in field for Güler. Good possession here from Real Madrid, but no real forward purpose as yet. They're just getting comfortable in possession. Now they play a more progressive ball forward, looking for Carreras, but it's well dealt with by the Benfica back line. But then Prestiani shows too much of that to Huysen, and it's a hurry clearance from Benfica that goes out of play for a Real Madrid throw. 10 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, just a bit of experience, I think, in Real Madrid's ranks. It's not that important right now to go for a goal. If it comes around, brilliant, but just slowing the game down. Possession, taking the sting out of that electric start from Benfica. It's exactly what you should be trying to do.
As Valverde tucks it out to Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side. Played back to halfway, and Rudiger. Bromley have been pegged back by Cheltenham, the leaders of League Two. It's now 1-1. And it's Isaac Hutchinson who's got the equaliser for the Robins. And Yeovil equalised in the National League at home to Aldershot. That too is 1-1. 0-0 at the Estadio de Luz on Talksport 2 in the Champions League. Benfica in possession inside their own half. Little drop of the shoulder, played up to Pavlidis, but Huysen straight at his back, won it back, and Güler now in the centre of the Benfica half. Finds Camavinga, spreads it to the left-hand corner of the area. Vinicius trying to outpace Dedic, who went down. He was pushed by Vinicius Free kick quickly awarded by the referee. 12 minutes gone. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0.
Yeah, outstanding from Dedic. Just gave him the outside option, Vinicius Junior, and then as soon as he went to go, he just stepped across. Was too strong for the Brazilian, and then he was clever enough once he did feel a bit of a nudge, goes to ground and wins the free kick. It's really good defending.
Vinicius having a word with Francois Letechier, the referee from France. Almost a bit of finger wagging. Could be careful with that. You can get yourself a yellow card for pointing that way at the referee, but seems like he made his case without irking the referee. So a free kick only, no yellow card for the Real Madrid number 7. Out of play goes for a throw. Sutton United 2, Woking 1 in the National League, and Benfica calming things down in their own half. And it's with Araujo playing the ball into Arsnes in the centre circle. Thought about spreading play much deeper down the left-hand side for the left-back who'd push forward or shoulder up, but instead it goes out to Dedic on the near side, the right-hand side as we look. Araujo plays the ball squared just by the centre circle. Arsnes gives it back to Thomas Araujo, who was playing at right back at the weekend, but he is definitely a centre-half in terms of shape and size. And that's what's allowed Dedic to come back in at full-back tonight. Now, Shelder up, running into the area, left-hand side for Benfica, ran into traffic, might drop for Prestiani, swinging and miss near the penalty spot, comes out to Dedic, plays an early ball to Pavlidis, just inside the area, right-hand corner. It's laid back to Arsnes, who couldn't take a shot. Barrero's there to help him out, and now Araujo keeps the ball away from Vinicius and knocks the ball back to halfway. Bit of a moment there for Benfica, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, nice aggressive work, wasn't it? On the break again.
And it's Prestiani again down the right side, wins a corner, hitting the ball off Carreras for Benfica corner away to our right, 0-0.
Nice and bright and positive. The wide players, Shelder up, Prestiani going at their defenders, committing them. It was good cover from Goulet for Trent Alexander-Arnold in the first case, and there Carreras just doing enough to block the ball behind for a corner.
Yeah, working hard, the Norwegian and the Argentinian on either flank, but Arsnes is going to take this right wing corner for Benfica. An outswinger goes to round about the penalty spot, header straight at the goalkeeper from Araujo. Courtois didn't have to move to clutch hold of it, but it was decent power on the header. But the throw out from Courtois is easily intercepted by Dedic, and there's a few Madrid players caught forward, and Dedic has a go with a daisy cutter from 30 yards out, but again straight at Thibaut Courtois. 0-0.
Yeah, back to the opportunity for Araujo. Saw it all the way from the corner, powerful header straight at Courtois. Wasn't even really a test for the big Belgian goalkeeper, but then he was rushed in trying to throw the ball out to Vinicius Junior. Dedic read it brilliantly, took it on because of that space, took the strike, but again just dribbled it along the floor really for Courtois to gather.
He's had the ball passed back to him 3 times now, Courtois, and there's a bit of a high press from Benfica, so he lobs it clear. Vinicius does really well under pressure from Araujo to guide it down to Carreras, and now Mbappe on the halfway line, now releases Vinicius down the left-hand side. Mbappe now trying to get up with him inside the penalty area, but Vinicius trying to lay it back into the centre of midfield. It does reach Valverde, who rode a challenge of Rafa Silva excellently, and then knocks it infield to Camavinga, across to Huysen. This is about 10 yards, now 20 yards inside Benfica territory. 0-0 on Talksport 2 with 16 minutes played in this Champions League playoff round of 32 first leg.
What I love about Mbappe is those moments where it looks like they're on the F1 warm-up lap, just warming things up, and then all of a sudden the lights go and the acceleration is just ridiculous, and everything suddenly gets chaotic from there on.
Yeah, they can go through the gears incredibly quickly, those two. We saw evidence of it to a certain extent just a moment ago. Here's Mbappe again, left-hand side for Madrid, near the 18-yard line, but he's played it back infield to Chouameni. Now Valverde finds Arda Güler, gets the ball on his left, fearsome drive, it was straight at the goalkeeper, and Trubin had to pat it down Such was the power of the strike, 0-0.
Yeah, it was a terrific hit, wasn't it, from Arda Güler. Had the space onto that left foot. Terrific strike, like you said, with the power in it. Just felt like he had to pat it down to himself there, Trubin. But Real Madrid starting to really take control of a bulk of the possession.
Hasn't scored in the Champions League, Arda Güler, since he's moved from Fenerbahce in 2023, Turkish international. Rochdale equalised at Scunthorpe, trying to get back to the top of the National League tonight. Ryan East equalises for Dale. Colchester have equalised at Cambridge in League 2. Jack Payne for the U's, who lost 3 out their last 4. And Dundee United lead the Spartans from just outside Edinburgh by 1-0 in the Scottish Cup. Ross Graham with the opener at Tannadice. Here is Alvaro Carreras, once of Benfica, playing at left back for Real Madrid. Camavinga forced to go back to Rudiger in the centre circle, everything in front of him. Plays the ball right down the middle of the field looking for Mbappe, comfortably dealt with by the centre-back Araujo, but Real Madrid pick up the second ball and it's nodded back out to Carreras on the near side, the left. Borussia Dortmund lead Atalanta in the Champions League playoff. Serhou Guirassy early on at the Westfalenstadion. And Barnsley equalise against Peterborough in League One. That's now 1-1. Luca Connell. Down the right-hand side, Valverde pulls the ball into the area. Vinicius on the turn, drags it wide of the post. The offside flag's gone up anyway. But Vinicius wasn't to know that. Tried to turn and fire it goalwards. It went along the deck and screwed wide of Trubin's left-hand post, 0-0.
Oh, it's off a chance for Vinicius Junior. Brilliant from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Fantastic pass down the side for Valverde, who tried to cut it back. It then deflected in towards Vinicius Junior, just outside the 6-yard box. He took a touch. Araujo in front of him, managed to poke the ball between his legs, but just trickling wide of Trubin's post as he was rooted to the spot.
Bristol City 0, Wrexham 1. Ollie Rathbone, what a season he's having in central midfield for Wrexham. He's given them the lead. I'll wager that's a 25-yard cracker, because that's what he seems to specialise in, Ollie Rathbone. Bristol City 0, Wrexham 1. Winners of that game go into the playoff places tonight. You're listening to Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Monaco have got a second against Paris Saint-Germain, and it's Balogun again for Monaco at the Stade Louis II. Rafa Silva was just cleaned out by Eduardo Camavinga on the halfway line. Proper kick from the Real Madrid number 6 on the recently returned Benfica midfielder. He felt that. Free kick to Benfica on the halfway line.
Terrific though, wasn't it? Terrific quick feet from Rafa Silva. Just saw Camavinga getting close to him, just on the outside of his right foot, just tapped that through his legs, but took a whack for it. As the game hasn't yet really settled, has it, into any sort of pattern. Still the intensity there, 20 minutes or so gone.
0-0 the score. Araujo inside his own half for Benfica, just keeps the ball away from Vinicius. Neat ball in field for Barreiro, just shy of the halfway line. Arsenes turns and feeds it into Otamendi. You see very little of the ball at the back for Benfica, but he just nicks it left and played out to the left-hand side by Dahl to Schelderup. Samuel Dahl again plays a 1-2 with Schelderup. Barreiro wants it again, keeps it away from Mbappe, but has to knock it back to Arsenes on the halfway line. Now Araujo, who had that firm header planted straight at Courtois from Benfica's early corner. Dedic then wins a throw off Carreras. Interesting that Alvaro Arbeloa played 122 times for Jose Mourinho at Real Madrid in that 3-year spell that Jose had at the Bernabeu. Won the league title and the Copa del Rey. Here's Benfica trying to win the ball at the edge of the Madrid box, but wonderful spin from Trent Alexander-Arnold, but then it's lost out to Araujo, who's hit the ball against Camavinga. Ball drifts out towards the touchline on this near side, and Dedic protects the ball so it goes out for a throw. Lovely quick feet from Trent Alexander-Arnold as he ran across the line there, Dean Ashton, but he ran out of room in the end.
Yeah, lovely little Maradona pirouette away from shoulder up on the edge of his own box, but then just bobbled the ball towards Vinicius and ended up losing it to Dedic.
It's a sign of confidence, though, that you're doing little Maradona Cruyff-type turns at the edge of your own penalty area. Here's Arsnes for Benfica, centre of the Madrid half. And then Pavlidis felt he was pulled back at the edge of the area by Chouameni, looked imploringly at the French referee, who said nothing, and now Vinicius tries to collect a ball sent down the centre of the field, but can't control it, and Benfica have it back. Midway through the first half, just a little bit stretched at times, this game. Whether that favours Benfica or Real Madrid at this point, it's hard to tell, but a bit more compressed now as Benfica have the ball on halfway, 0-0.
Yeah, they're both just taking it in turns to have 3 or 4 minute spell of possession with the opposition just sitting in their own half. It's Real Madrid, though, that have looked more comfortable when they've had that. Pavlidis desperately trying to get into the game, can't be found yet.
Well, here's Dedic laying the ball off to Barreiro, out to the right wing for Prestiani for Benfica. The cross into the box is collected by Huysen. Final to Arsnes. What a save by Thibaut Courtois. Arsnes hit that along the deck from 25-30 yards out. It may have taken a touch on its way through, and somehow Courtois, with such a strong left wrist, kept that out. What a save.
Well, that's why he's in the question of one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Oh no, like you said, hit it low, skidded it off the surface, took a slight deflection off Rafa Silva to divert the ball to the left of Courtois. He gets down, the strength in the left wrist was stunning. He almost trapped the ball between his wrist and the floor powerfully as he dived to his left-hand side. It's a magnificent save, yet we're just so used to seeing it from him.
That save has got better with every replay I watched of that. That could so easily have just slipped under his wrist and gone into the net, because it was really firmly struck by Frederic Arsnes. But it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2. That's the best chance of the game with 24 minutes gone. More live football for you tomorrow night across the network. Karabakh against Newcastle United at 5:45 here on Talksport 2. And then we've got a bit of a bonus Premier League for you in midweek. Wolves against Arsenal, exclusive to Talksport from 8 from Molineux. Stuart Pearce will be alongside Adrian Durham and Joe Shannon for that one. And then Thursday night we've got a Europa League double bill. Fenerbahce against Nottingham Forest here on Talksport 2 at 5:45. Straight after that, Celtic against Stuttgart in the Europa League at Celtic Park. I'll be with Chris Uwelemo for that one. Here come Real Madrid at 0-0. 25 minutes gone. Carreras, the former Benfica fullback, knocks it infield to Mbappe, who again tries a flashing drive from 25 yards out, but he can't keep this one down. Fizzes over the crossbar by quite some distance. Goal kick to Benfica, 0-0. Here's Dean Ashton.
He'll be disappointed, of course, with no real pressure on him from around 20-25 yards out, Kylian Mbappe. But again, because of that sharpness, that quickness that he has, it was just a touch and then shifted it away from Prestiani. And because of that pace, he's away already, and it just gives him the time to set himself for the strike. Be disappointed that he's tried to whip through that and get the dip on it, and it just never did.
Ball's back with Anatoly Trubin. Finds Araujo, trying to play the ball up into midfield. Oh, there's a deflection that works for Real Madrid. Goulet lobbing it down the left-hand side of the area for Vinicius, who indeed lobs it back across the face of goal, but it won't reach a blue Real Madrid shirt. Indeed, there was an offside flag up against Vinicius, and so a free kick to Benfica, just at the right-hand corner of their own penalty area. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0 in the Champions League. Madrid are in the Champions League proper for the 30th time. That's a competition record that they share with their deadly rivals Barcelona. Ball downfield was rather lazily hacked out of play by Dean Huysen there for Real Madrid, so Benfica have got a good throw-in position here, level with the 18-yard line. They've taken the throw-in quickly. Arsnes driving the ball from left to right, seeking out Dedic, who brings the ball down neatly, faced up by Carreras. Tries to nick it past Carreras, but the fullback does his job well for Real Madrid, and then Heisen with a much better clearance that time up to halfway, but nobody in a blue shirt can collect it. Araujo gets there ahead of Vinicius, nods it along the halfway line, and Dahl tucks it out to shoulder up on the left-hand side. He's up against Alexander-Arnold, gets away from him, just gets inside and infield, out to the left-hand side. Dahl feinted to cross, shoulder up again, plays the ball up to Prestiani, edge of the area, but he's crowded out by 2 or 3 Real Madrid shirts, and Goulet looks early for Mbappe, but that was well intercepted by Otamendi that time, 0-0.
He's better though than that, Goulet, in the centre of midfield. No pressure on him, really should find the pass there. He can overhit it really for Mbappe with all the space that he had away from Otamendi, who would have been delighted that that found itself at his right foot, or else he would have been struggling to get back to Mbappe.
That's true, you can hit it about 10 yards further in front of Kylian Mbappe than almost any other human on the planet, and he'll probably reach it. Here is shoulder up, now playing in the inside right position for the moment for Benfica. Tucks it infield neatly to Arsnes, 30 yards from goal. Now it's out to the left-hand side and Prestiani. They've switched wings, shoulder up and Prestiani. Rafa Silva takes control after a slight deflection from Prestiani's attempted cross. He's got it again, the Argentine, level with the 18-yard line. Left-hand side for Benfica. Not much movement in the box, so he works it back down the touchline to Arsnes and then back to Otamendi in the centre circle. Otamendi finds Samuel Dahl, the left-back, who pushes into the Real Madrid half once more. Slides it out to the left wing and shoulder up. Running at Alexander-Arnold. Gets to the corner of the penalty area. Thinks about a shot and gets right underneath it. Really skies that. And that's a goal kick to Real Madrid as we approach the half hour on Talksport 2. 0-0 the score.
Hard to describe that. It's that bad. It was just a clearance up and over the bar into the stand.
Well, Jose's making a note of it. But I think you might bring that up at half-time, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, other than Vinicius Junior's sort of half chance, we've not really seen a clear-cut opportunity as yet. I know Courtois made a great save from a strike from distance, but neither team is yet to be carved open.
Frederic Arsnes, good ball forward to Pavlidis. Rafa Silva tries to lay it off to Prestiani down the right-hand side. Arsnes has it back. Tries to knock it forward again to Pavlidis, the striker, but Real Madrid tidy up. And now Goulet can turn inside his own half. Options left and right, goes left, and it's picked up by Carreras. Quick ball in field for Vinicius, 30 yards from goal. Plays it backwards to square to Valverde. Now out to the right-hand side. And Mbappe trying to drill the ball into the area, but it's headed clear by Barrero and out of play for a Real Madrid throw. We have hit the half-hour mark on Talksport 2 in the Champions League. No score between Benfica and Real Madrid. Camavinga for the visitors. Plays into the feet of Vinicius. Back into the centre circle it goes for Rudiger. Paris Saint-Germain have a goal back. It's Monaco 2, PSG 1, Desiree Doué for the Parisians. Oh, space for Goulet into the area, right-hand side. Tried to pull it back, but his touch allowed Otamendi to get a foot in, and that challenge from Otamendi rebounded off Goulet and out for a goal kick. If he'd just taken a slightly calmer touch, Goulet, in the area, he could have pulled the trigger. As it is, goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, it felt like a real opening, didn't it, for Real Madrid and Goulet. Again, you're right, it's the key most of the time, that first initial touch. Does it set you up to deliver with quality? It didn't. It meant he had to rush it. Otamendi came across, did brilliantly to cut it out and bounce it off the shins of Goulet, because Valverde was waiting for that cutback.
Poor pass in field from Alexander-Arnold, comfortably picked up by Barrero, who's advanced to about 30 yards from goal. Shoulder up, calling for it left-hand side, picks it up now. It was the left-hand corner of the Real Madrid penalty area. Played in field to the inventive Arsnes, and now Barrero back out to shoulder up left-hand side. Bit of space to measure a crossing, but only Pavlidis in the area waiting for a cross. Shoulder up. Jinking now sends the cross in, looking for Pavlidis, headed away by Heisen, nodded down by Dedic for Arsnes. 30 yards, quite central. Plays it right for Prestiani. Good possession here for Benfica. Drilled out to shoulder up again on the left-hand side, up against Trent. Goes for the byline, does he this time? No, checks back in on his right. Tried to slip it back to Arsnes just outside the area. but an important foot in from Arda Güler. But the clearance from Real Madrid doesn't find a teammate, and Benfica tidy up. Barrero, neat turn inside the centre circle, squares the ball to his left for Arsenal. Lovely ball for Rafa Silva, tried to thread it up to Pavlidis just inside the box, but again, just a toe in from a Real Madrid player stopped the move coming to anything for Benfica. 0-0.
Yeah, and he could have gone further wide to shoulder up who was free rather than Pavlidis. Must be difficult for Pavlidis. I watched that last attack with shoulder up on the left-hand side. Well, I had no idea when he was going to cross it. I mean, he just kept, stuttering as if he was going to, and then when he did, Pavlidis just didn't move because he just wasn't ready for it. It's a difficult job sometimes, depending on what your winger's like.
There
for a
speaks
forward.
the voice of frustration.
Me?
It's happened to you, hasn't it?
No. Maybe.
Cardiff City 1, AFC Wimbledon 1. Right on half-time, Matty Stevens equalises for AFC Wimbledon at the League One leaders. And Plymouth Argyle, who are up to 12th at the minute, got their first win in 4 last time out, but much improved under Tom Cleverley. They lead at Leyton Orient right on half-time through Aribin Peppel. Although Leyton Orient, as I say that, they've just equalised at Brisbane Road. Ollie O'Neill making it 1-1. 0-0 with 12 minutes to half-time in this Champions League playoff first leg between Benfica of Portugal and Real Madrid of Spain. And the ball is with Arda Güler just over the halfway line. Plays the ball in field to Chouameni. Now Heisen is pushed forward from centre half. Plays it out to Vinicius, stationed on the left wing once again. Level with the 18-yard line. Fires the ball back in field to Güler, 35 yards from goal. Gets the ball on his left peg. Plays a 1-2 with Valverde. Gets it back at the edge of the area. Threads it through, looking for either Mbappe or Vinicius. But it was an important foot in from Araujo at the back that stopped the ball getting through to either of the strikers. Güler with a lovely dummy. Picked up by Chouameni. Trying to feed it out to the left-hand side, and Carreras, he will get it now. The left back up against Prestiani. Left-hand corner of the penalty area. Tries to drive for the byline. Got the better of Prestiani for a moment. And then it's worked back into midfield. And Chouameni with a square ball across to Güler. Up to the edge of the area. Mbappe with his back to goal is crowded out by 2 or 3 Benfica shots, but he gets it back. Up towards the edge of the box once more. Plays it back into a square for Chouameni. Back out to the Real Madrid left wing. And Carreras drives across in along the deck. Blocked by the first defender. And Benfica should clear 0-0.
Difficult though, isn't it, to play through that Benfica defence. Everyone but Pavlidis back in a block.
Why doesn't that surprise me from a Mourinho team?
No, good point. But it was it's wonderful work. I'm enjoying watching Arda Güler. His awareness, his positioning, just the craft, looking as if he's going to play into midfield and then just reversing it into Valverde, getting it back, and then almost threading a wonderful no-look pass right through that Benfica defence. He's the one at the moment that could really open the door.
There's a Benfica player down, writhing in agony on the deck. And the referee will now stop play so that he can get treatment. He didn't have to. I don't think it's a head injury, but it's Rafa Silva that's writhing around in agony on the deck. Blackpool, meantime, have taken the lead in the 8 o'clock kickoff in League One against Mansfield. Mansfield, who knocked out Burnley in the FA Cup on Saturday, go a goal down to Blackpool with no win in 4. Niall Ennis for the Seasiders. And there's a bit of a pushing and shoving match around Rafa Silva as the likes of Prestiani and Otamendi keep Mbappe and Rudiger and Vinicius away from the apparently stricken Rafa Silva. It's all getting a bit silly out there, Dean Ashton.
It is just a bit. I don't know why Kylian Mbappe's getting involved. He's hardly the Mick Harford of the modern game, is he? He took a nasty fall actually, Rafa Silva. Chouameni just challenging as he landed heavily, on the side of his ribs. So he's not feigning injury. So I don't know why players are getting involved.
Sorry, I'm just thinking there's a comparison between Mick Harford and Kylian Mbappe. I loved Mick. He was one of my He was that, for me, he was the original good touch for a big man.
Yes.
Mick Harford, I think back to the early 80s when he played for my team. Reading 1-0 up on Bolton Wanderers in League One. That's the other 8 o'clock kickoff tonight in England's third tier. Jack Marriott for the Royals, who've won 3 out of the last 4, just 3 points off the top 6 in League One. They're going well just lately. And Bolton, they are going equally well, 7 unbeaten. They're just 6 points off second, but they've gone behind at the Select Car Leasing. 8 minutes to half time. Rafa Silva still receiving treatment, lying flat on his back inside his own half of the field. Jose Mourinho looks on fairly unmoved from the technical area. Bit of a contrast to what was happening in the wild scenes after Trubin's critical fourth goal. He was hugging ball boys again, like that game at Spurs when a quick-thinking ball boy helped Spurs get a goal, and Mourinho was quick to credit him. But Rafa Silva is back on his feet, but he's going to have to wait 30 seconds to get back onto the field. Roberto Carlos has been spotted by the television cameras sat inside the Stadio de Luz. Another extraordinary talent from Real Madrid's history. You're listening to Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0 in the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Back underway. Real Madrid in possession. They have a man advantage just for a moment whilst Rafa Silva waits to be bidded back onto the field. Trent Alexander-Arnold gets away down the right-hand side, across the face of goal, and somehow Mbappe missed it. Seemed to go straight through him. Vinicius picks it up on the left wing, gets to the byline, deep cross to the far post. It evades everybody in Benfica red, but drops outside the area for Alexander-Arnold. Clips the ball back into the area. Lovely ball, just over the head of Mbappe again. Benfica can't get it clear. Vinicius down the left-hand side of the area, going for the byline, then checks his run. 2 Benfica players in front of him. Tries to get it past Prestiani, who did well. Stuck to his task and then fell just as he was trying to bring the ball clear. And Vinicius has it back again. Left-hand side. Now he's driving for the byline. Gets to the byline and it's a goal kick because it deflected back off him once again. But what about that chance for Kylian Mbappe as the ball seemingly went straight through him, right in front, 0-0.
Yeah, best chance of the game, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant from Alexander-Arnold. He has to play this quickly across to make sure it misses Otamendi and there for Mbappe, and he just misses it. It's as simple as that. It's quite an easy finish, really. Should just be going with the left foot to side foot that, and he dives inexplicably. He doesn't need to dive. It's right there in his path. He dives with the outside of the right foot, which is absolutely the wrong foot from where that cross has been made from the right-hand side.
Well, I was listening to you on Sunday in our coverage of the FA Cup tie at St Andrews about keepers going with their right or wrong hand. Doesn't matter. Certainly matters when strikers go for a cross with their wrong foot.
I mean, don't get me wrong, of course he could have connected perfectly with the outside of his right, but the percentage play is absolutely the left foot, just to side foot that in. I don't understand why he went diving in. He didn't need to. It was nice and close to him. Excellent ball from Alexander-Arnold. He just misjudged it and mistimed it.
5 minutes to half time on Talksport 2. 0-0 between Benfica and Real Madrid. Rudiger in the centre circle for the visitors. Plays it just to his right for Valverde. Alexander-Arnold ahead of him. Nicks it in field for Chouameni, who hits a crossfield ball looking for Vinicius, but that one is overhit. And so Benfica have a throw. And I'm sure from Jose Mourinho's point of view, Dean Ashton, 0-0 at half-time will represent a job well done so far.
Yeah, he'll be pleased. I think certainly defensively, I think they've really had that organisation. I think we need to see Pavlidis in the game. He's trying his hardest to be part of it, but he's a spectator at the moment. And other than that really early flurry of pressure from Benfica, they've struggled to really create anything after that.
We've seen long-range efforts from both teams. Arguably the best chance was from Arsenis for Benfica. Incredible strong wrist from Thibaut Courtois to keep it out, diving full length to his left-hand side. Brilliant save. Make sure you get a chance to see it later and appreciate it for yourself. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0 on Talksport 2. His shoulder up for Benfica down the left-hand side, faced by Trent and by Valverde. Won't put the ball in the box, he'll lay it back to Dahl. Now shoulder up again, level with the 18-yard line, left-hand side for the Eagles. Gives it back to Samuel Dahl, the left-back once again. He's got lots of blue Real Madrid shirts around him, so he knocks it back into midfield for Arsnes and then across to Araujo. He drives forward from centre-half. Space for Dedic on the right-hand side. Measures an early cross into the box, headed up in the air by Huyson. Lovely delivery on that cross. Volleyed clear by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and now Mbappe tries to turn against Otamendi on halfway, but the old campaigner, the wily old campaigner, was wise to it. Monaco 2, Paris Saint-Germain 2. Achraf Hakimi levels for PSG, who were 2-0 down at the Stade Louis II. Carreras for Real Madrid moves into the Benfica half. Down the left-hand side, Camavinga turns away from Barreiro. Mbappe spots Carreras making a forward run into the area. Back heel, and then put over the bar by Mbappe. The back heel from Vinicius was quite delightful. Allowed Mbappe to run onto it just inside the 18-yard line. But he got underneath the shot and it fizzed over the crossbar. 0-0.
Stunning football, wasn't it? Mbappe just rolled his studs over the ball, popped it out towards Carreras, who fed it into Vinicius Junior, and the awareness and the vision and the touch of the flick towards Mbappe opened it up for the left foot strike, and he puts it over. I think he probably would have been offside, Vinicius Junior, but still you would expect Mbappe to be testing Trubin at the very least.
Just the 13 goals in the Champions League this season for Kylian Mbappe, along with 23 goals in the league. Again, just extraordinary numbers up there with players like Kane and Haaland. The sheer audacity of their goal-to-game ratio. Lovely turn from Camavinga for Real Madrid on halfway. Running into the centre of midfield. Gets up to the edge of the area, tries to slip it through for Mbappe. Shot saved well by Trubin down to his right-hand side. Mbappe denied this time when he got a shot on target. 0-0.
It's opened up again the third time for Mbappe. Excellent from Camavinga from midfield, bursting forwards as it fell for Mbappe. He was really quick to assess the situation, take it away from Arnes, and then struck firmly but low, but easily saved by Trubin. That should have been a lot closer to the corner.
Mbappe now with his back to goal at the edge of the area, turns away from Arsenal. Little flick through, Vinicius with a shot wide, took a deflection off Araujo. Corner kick to Real Madrid in the last minute of the half. 0-0.
Oh, needed to be as well, wasn't it? They're looking so sharp towards the end of this first half, Real Madrid. Mbappe this time into Vinicius, who just swiveled to take the strike. Araujo does brilliantly, just hurt his knee in the process, but did brilliantly to get across and make the block.
We're just seeing a replay of Trubin's save from Mbappe. Here comes the corner for Real Madrid, punched away by Trubin from the edge of his 6-yard box, nodded back into the area. They're making a bit of a mess of getting it clear, but they do eventually through Araujo, but Valverde heads the ball to Goulet, right-hand corner of the box. Brings the ball in field, left footed drive, great save! Trubin made a brilliant stop, flung himself to his right. That was destined for the bottom corner, but Trubin made a brilliant stop. It's another Real Madrid corner as we go into added time. 0-0.
Yeah, stunning because it came through Otamendi's legs, so he saw it late from Goulet's strike low towards Trubin's right-hand side. He had to wait, and then he was really quickly down to fend that away behind for a corner.
Which are 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half. 0-0. Trent's corner for Real Madrid, deep to the far post. Arsenal heads it clear. He might get it back from a cushioned header from Rafa Silva. Rafa Silva brings it down, but then is dispossessed by Huyson. Valverde with an early cross from the right, but Benfica win back possession. Arsenal's just forced to clear quickly under pressure. Goes out play for a Real Madrid throw on the halfway line. 0-0, but we've seen some spectacular goalkeeping. And it's, I don't know, seeing that save from Trubin and seeing how late he saw it having come through Otamendi's legs, it's hard to say whose was the better save, that or the one from Courtois earlier. That's a coin flip for me, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, it is. Just give it to Courtois, just because of the deflection, I think.
Yeah,
makes it really difficult to have to change direction, but still goalkeepers keeping it at 0-0. But we've seen the best of Real Madrid, that genuine sharpness, very, very difficult to defend against when Mbappe and Vinicius get going.
But here's Mbappe motoring down the left-hand side, gets to the byline, chips the ball deep to the far post, but darken, bring it down on his chest and volley it clear. Another example we saw there of Kylian Mbappe suddenly going through the gears and putting on the afterburners. But there was nobody really forward for him, and the cross was too deep for those that were forward. So Real Madrid have it back in their own defensive third with Alexander-Arnold. Camavinga in the centre of the half now. Turns away from Rafa Silva, gives it back to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now out to Valverde on the right-hand side. And he goes again as Trent looks to find him. Lovely ball down the right-hand side, but a corner kick is what they'll get out of it, as Valverde touched it against the centre half. This could be the last action of the first period. Real Madrid with another corner away to the left-hand side, 0-0.
Brilliant from Alexander-Arnold again. And a willing runner, always Valverde. Just spinning in behind and being found by Alexander-Arnold.
I think Valverde's just feeling the freedom of not playing at right back anymore.
I agree.
He did not enjoy, I don't think, his spell playing at right back for Real Madrid. So a corner kick, bit of a mismatch in the box between shoulder up and Rudiger's, almost twice his size. Corner comes in, headed down onto the penalty spot. Mbappe tries to drive it goalwards. It was on target, but it came off Arsenal's knee. Good header one at the edge of the area by Dedic, but Huysen keeps it alive for Real Madrid, plays into the box, but Arsenal controls it, hooks it clear. Now there's a chase between Rafa Silva and Carreras, but as the ball goes out of play for a throw, the referee brings the first half to a close to disappoint the home fans who thought there was one last chance in this half for a break by Benfica, but it's goalless at half-time in the Estadio de Luz, and it's been nip and tuck. Both sides have had spells of going forward, but both keepers have had one terrific save each. First, Arsenal drove the ball goalwards for Benfica from outside the box. It took a touch off Rafa Silva. Courtois flung himself to his left and made a quite superb stop with his left wrist, diving full length to his left. And at the other end, Anatoly Trubin, who was the hero scoring, was the hero preventing a goal at the other end late in the half when a shot came in from the edge of the area. Brilliantly saved. Huler's shot went through the legs of Otamendi, but Trubin flung himself to his right and tipped it round for the post for a corner that came to nothing. It is Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0 on Talksport 2. Sum up that first half for us then, Dean Ashton.
Well, after such a bright and energetic start from Benfica, Real Madrid, their quality just started to shine through. They controlled the game, and then towards the end of the half they really did show their unbelievable quality and pace in which they can attack you, and Kylian Mbappe should have put them ahead. I don't know how he's missed that cross from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he should just be side-footing that past Trubin. And then, of course, Trubin with a great save from both Mbappe and Gruler to keep it at 0-0. So Benfica with, I think, quite a bit of work to do to make sure that it stays level. Otherwise, Real Madrid are not going to keep missing those sort of chances. No,
indeed. We're looking at the statistics of the first half, and Madrid have shaded possession by 59 to 41. They've had more attempts than their host, 9 to 6. But it's felt fairly even at times, Dean. Certainly Benfica, the way they started, there was great intent with the first 5 or 10 minutes from Jose's side.
Yeah, and also I think they're taking it in turns almost to sit back into their own half. Even Real Madrid have done that at times. I think the one thing that Real Madrid have been able to do is get their forward players into the game. Benfica haven't been able to get Pavlidis into the game at all. He's just been working incredibly hard to try and be part of the game. Nothing as yet that's really come his way, and that's probably the difference really, is they've just been able to open a bit of space up for the forward players. Real Madrid better than Benfica.
Dean, thank you for the time being. Dean Ashton with us tonight. Goals are going in the EFL at the start of the second half of games up and down the country. Accrington Stanley take the lead at Tranmere. Paddy Madden, the veteran, with a goal for Stanley. Bristol City have equalised against Wrexham in the Championship. That's now 1-1 at Ashton Gate. Sinclair Armstrong with the leveller. And Bradford have taken the lead against Stockport County. The law of the X, Anthony Sarcevic, scoring the goal for Bradford against the Hatters at the University of Bradford Stadium. Bradford in 5th against Stockport in 4th. That's an important game towards the top of League One. When we come back, I'll round up all the latest scores for you domestically and in Europe, and you'll hear from Eddie Howe ahead of Newcastle's game in Azerbaijan at Karabakh that you can hear on Talksport 2 tomorrow tea time. But at the break, at the Estadio de Luz, it's Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0.
No-nonsense sports coverage.
Oh, he's going all the way! This is Talksport 2. Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Team, kick off at 3, yeah? On my way. I've just picked up my new Nissan Town Store. It's packed with safety features, goalkeeper vibes.
Showing off fans, are we? My Nissan Prima Star's got 8.6 cubic metres of space. So, loading up the footy gear now.
Thought this was a football chat. Try the all-new Nissan Interstar. Comes as a diesel or 100% electric with up to 285-mile range, like me up front. See you there.
Get ready to win with the Nissan Van range, all backed by a 5-year warranty and roadside assistance. Search Nissan Vans and visit your local Nissan Van Centre today.
Warranty terms apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. EV range figures are for comparability purposes and may not reflect real driving results. Visit nissan.co.uk.
Chase is the digital bank that gives you 1% cash back on groceries.
So, can I get cash back on cake mix?
Indeed.
And icing?
Yep.
And sprinkles?
Sure.
And candles?
Yeah, and you can turn all that cash back into a nice birthday treat.
How do you know it's my birthday?
Just a hunch. Get 1% cash back on groceries, fuel and everyday transport when you spend with Chase. Search Chase Bank. 18 plus UK residents. 1% cash back on this debit card spending for your first year. Maximum £15 per month. Eligibility and exceptions apply. May be changed or withdrawn.
It might be cold outside, but things are really warming up at the Wren Winter Sale, with red-hot prices on our high-quality, fully built kitchens and fitted bedrooms. Right now, there's up to 60% off fully built kitchens and all bedroom units, plus up to 7 years interest-free credit. Made for making you feel warm inside, whatever the weather. Wren, made for living. Visit your nearest Wren showroom. Offers apply when you buy 5 or more kitchen units or 3 or more bedroom units. Finance subject to status and minimum spend.
On average, Rift Tax refunds get their customers $3,000 back. Search Rift Tax refunds today. Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Hi, I'm Jeff Stelling. Make sure you give your ears a serious workout this Wednesday with a wily night of live football on Talksport and Talksport 2. From 5:45, Karabakh face Newcastle in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2. From 8, Wolves take on Arsenal in the Premier League, live on Talksport. Plus, have your say on the Sports Bar from 10. Watch out for a whistle-stop Wednesday night of live football on Talksport and Talksport 2. Kick off. King of football commentary. Kick off live on Talksport 2.
We were well aware going into this season it was going to be different for us.
And neither PSG nor Newcastle are going to finish in the top 8.
I think if you said to a Newcastle fan before the start of this season you'll get a Champions League playoff place, they would have bit your hand off.
Tonali with another drive. Oh, what a goal! Sandro Tonali!
When you're in the Champions League, you have to prioritise that, because it's not looking likely that Newcastle are playing well enough to reach the top 5 in the Premier League.
It's Newcastle 2, Brentford 3.
This will be pretty much the last game that they'll have wanted. Yes, of course, they should win, but Karabakh have been decent at home, a couple of good home results.
Turned in on the follow-up, it's Leandro Andrade. Karabakh equalise. A pivotal night in the race for the Champions League.
Yeah, loads of European football on the Talksport network this week. We're halfway through the first leg at the Estadio de Luz tonight, where it is Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0. A really high tempo first half. Stay with us for the second half. Karabakh Newcastle is our offering tomorrow tea time, as the Geordies have travelled to Azerbaijan, and the Newcastle manager spoke to the media earlier today. He was asked how important it was for the Magpies to remain in the Champions League.
Of course, it means everything to us currently. I mean, if you look at the history of the club, this is sort of a slightly new opportunity for us to get to the last 16 of this competition. It would be an incredible achievement. And we're trying to embrace it in that way. We're trying to look at the excitement and the possibility rather than feel too much of the burden of the pressure of the occasion. I think we want to turn these moments and these games into history opportunities into moments that the people talk about for a long, long time. I think there's a real excitement with this game and the travel and the number of supporters we're bringing. So I think it's all set to be a great occasion. And then, of course, we have to do our bit. We have to bring our A game. We have to approach the game in the right way in terms of our attitude. I know we will. And then we need to deliver like we have in our last 2 away games.
Don't know how warm it's going to be in Azerbaijan, but I imagine Newcastle fans wouldn't need a second invitation to take the shirts off and swing around their heads as they travel to a brand new stadium. What have you made of Newcastle's season, Dean Ashton, alongside me here tonight? There they are, sort of mid-table in the Premier League, 12th in the Champions League table. They've got to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. They're into the 5th round against Manchester City in the FA Cup. Where would you grade it, their season?
I think the issue for Eddie Howe is the standards that he's set. And so it feels like they've been slightly below that. Which is incredible to say, really, considering where he's got that side to since taking over. And actually, it's probably been a little bit better than it's looked at times, but it has been very indifferent. It has been very inconsistent at times, from one week looking fantastic to the next week looking incredibly poor and lacking life in his team and struggling to create. But they've got a great opportunity. It is a great draw. It's not going to be easy, of course, but still they couldn't have asked for a better draw, really. And that all starts, of course, tomorrow night.
It does. That's live on Talksport 2 at tea time. 5:45 kickoff. Karabakh against Newcastle United. We've got a bit of a bonus Premier League offering for you. Wolves against Arsenal. 8 o'clock, Talksport exclusive. Adrian Durham, your host for that. Joe Shannon and Stuart Pearce will bring you commentary of that one. I need to update you on the scores on the doors around the country at the moment. In the EFL, lots of games into the second half. Bristol City 1, Wrexham 1, Sinclair Armstrong levelling in the second half. And it's Charlton 0, Portsmouth 2 at the Valley in the other championship game tonight. In fact, Portsmouth have just gone 3-0 up, I'm told, at the Valley. Latest scores in League One, these are mostly into the second half. Barnsley 2, Peterborough 1. Reyes Cleary has just put Barnsley 2-1 up, and it's Terry Devlin that's got that third for Portsmouth. Bradford 1, Stockport 0. Burton 1, Rotherham 0. Cardiff, the leaders 1, Wimbledon 1. Doncaster 1, Huddersfield 0. Exeter 0, Wycombe 1, Leyton Orient 1. Plymouth 2, Plymouth have just gone 2-1 up there. Ronan Curtis with the second for the Pilgrims. Lincoln 2, Northampton 0. Second for Lincoln coming from their goal machine at the moment, Jack Moylan, the Irish midfielder, and Northampton are down to 10 players. They've just had a man sent off at the LNER. Stevenage 2, Port Vale 1. Blackpool 1, Mansfield 0. And Reading 1, Bolton 0. Those last two scores are half-time scores at Blackpool and Reading, 8 o'clock kickoffs. In League 2, these are the latest scores. Barnet 1, Swindon 1. Swindon have just equalised through Ollie Clark. Barrow 0, Harrogate 1. Bromley 1, the leaders, Cheltenham 1. Cambridge 1, Colchester 1. Chesterfield 1, Gillingham 0. Crewe 0, Fleetwood 1. MK Dons 0, Crawley 0. Oldham 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Salford 0, Newport 2. Shrewsbury 1, Notts County 0. And Tranmere 0, Accrington 1. In the National League, there's 4 games tonight. Wealdstone Hartlepool was postponed. FC Halifax 1, Gateshead 2. Rochdale 1, Scunthorpe 1. Sutton 2, Woking 1, but Sutton are down to 10. And Yeovil 1, Aldershot 1. And in the Champions League, we're about to bring you second half commentary from Estadio de Luz, myself and Dean Ashton. It's Benfica 0, Real Madrid 0. Crazy first half, I'm told, at the Stade Louis II, where it is half-time. Monaco 2, Paris Saint-Germain 2 in that all-French tie. Monaco 2-0 up, but PSG have drawn themselves level. And Borussia Dortmund have just got a second. Well, they've got a second right on half-time. They kicked off a little late there at the Westfalen Stadium, but Maximilian Bayer has just made it Dortmund 2, Atalanta 0. Tomorrow night, we're just waiting for the players to come back out here, Dean Ashton. We mentioned that game that's live on Talksport tomorrow night. Arsenal travelling to Wolves. I watched Wolves last midweek at Nottingham Forest. Not as bad as I thought they were going to be, based on everything you hear, about, Wolves are going down. There could be a record low points total. I'm not sure they're going to be quite as low as Derby County's
I think there has been big improvements in the performances. Been unlucky in quite a few games. Been a lot closer than maybe some might have thought in certain games, but still struggling to really pick up the points to make sure of that. But there's definitely been a change. But it must be difficult when you know you're going to be relegated to still have those type of performances. But you owe it to the supporters, of course. But that's not going to be easy against Arsenal.
Salford 0, Newport 3. Newport 3-0 up at the Peninsula Stadium. Real hangover for Salford from the FA Cup exploits. No one in 5 for Newport, but Nathaniel Opoku, just shy of the hour, has put them 3-0 up. And Carl Robinson said that the heavy defeat to Manchester City that Salford suffered in round 3 last season was the precursor to a real drop in league form. We won't want that to happen again at Salford City. FC Halifax get a goal back at home to Gateshead. FC Halifax 1, Gateshead 2. Oldham have got a second against Bristol Rovers. They got the first goal of the night in the 7:45s. Did Oldham? They've just doubled their lead through Mike Fondop. And Dundee United 2-0 up in the Scottish Cup against the Spartans. So the players are back out at the Estadio de Luz for the second half. No sign of any substitutions that I can see, Dean Ashton, before things get back underway. Benfica in their traditional red shirts and socks and white shorts. Real Madrid in their change strip tonight of all lightish blue. It'll be very interesting half-time team talk that Jose Mourinho will have given his players in terms of, well, you want more of the same, but I wonder whether he's got changes in mind in order to preserve the tempo and the strength that they're showing in keeping Real Madrid out by and large so far, Dean.
Well, that's the conundrum, isn't it? I think it's more down to good goalkeeping and poor finishing from Real Madrid that they're not ahead after that first half. But still, to keep them out is important. They just need a bit more. They need to get Pavlidis into the game. Of course, he's their biggest threat, their top scorer, and he's barely had a kick in that first half.
Back underway. Real Madrid kicking from left to right as we look. Cardiff City have just gone back in front against AFC Wimbledon, the leaders of League One. 2-1 up now through Perry and G at the Cardiff City Stadium. And the ball's back with Courtois, the Real Madrid goalkeeper. So the lineup's Trubin in goal for Benfica. Dedic, Araujo, Otamendi and Dahl at the back. Arsnes, Barreiro holding in midfield, then Prestiani, Rafa Silva and shoulder up behind the aforementioned Pavlidis in attack. For Real Madrid, Courtois, then a back four of Trent, Rudiger, as Benfica get into the edge of the box. No foul on Pavlidis, who's now holding his top of his right boot as he lands awkwardly inside the penalty area, but the referee's blown his whistle, I think, for an offside. A reminder of that Madrid side in front of Courtois: Trent, Rudiger, Huysen and Carreras, Valverde, Coulier, Chouameni and Camavinga, Mbappe and finishes. What did you make of that challenge at the edge of the area, Dean Ashton?
Full force, as you would imagine, from Rudiger. Brilliantly timed, got the ball and just upended Pavlidis on his way through. He was right saying to the referee, I got all of the ball and then a bit of the man, but it was an important challenge because it was the first time we almost saw Pavlidis get in with a little 1-2 with Rafa Silva.
But it came to nothing. Rudiger now in possession, but with his back to the halfway line, being forced to turn away. But a good ball in field to Chouameni, who can bring the ball up to the halfway line without being pressed. Then Carreras out to the left-hand side for Real Madrid. Left Benfica last summer after just 1 year with the Portuguese, Alvaro Carreras. Began at Manchester United, but never got a look in there at Old Trafford. Had a Preston North End loan. Preston fans will remember him 2 or 3 years ago. Cardiff have stretched their lead against AFC Wimbledon. Now it's 3-1. Ollie Tanner with the third for the Bluebirds. 2.5 minutes gone in the second half. Still 0-0 between Benfica and Real Madrid. They're trying to slide in Vinicius down the left-hand side of the box, and then Carreras went to ground, claiming he was fouled by Otamendi, but there was no touch from the Argentinian centre-half. And although Carreras went to ground, it's not bad enough simulation to earn him a yellow card, Dean Ashton. It's just a goal kick. Or it's actually handballed by Carreras as he went to ground. Anyway, 0-0.
He's a little lucky though, isn't he? I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't book him, because it's a clear chance of him deceiving the referee. That's why he's gone down. Surprised.
0-0 the score. Ball up to halfway. Rudiger, sensing that shoulder up was behind him from a crossfield ball, wisely hooked it out of play so that Real Madrid could reset at the back. Arbeloa gives the ball to his left back Dahl. Otamendi tucks it in field to Arsenal on the halfway line. Across he goes to Araujo, who had a firm header in the first half from a corner that was straight at Thibaut Courtois. Lovely touch from Prestiani out to the right hand side, but Dedic couldn't get onto the loose ball. He didn't believe in himself at first, and it allowed Camavinga to win the ball back down by the corner flag in his own defensive third. And it's cleared downfield by Huysen. Barreiro heads it back in field. Valverde wins a header, and then Barreiro just clatters into Goulet. Quickly taken free kick, and Real Madrid come away with the fleet of foot Kylian Mbappe. Vinicius just on the outside of him, left hand side, gets into the area, right footed shot, what a goal! Oh, what a hit from Vinicius Junior, out of nothing, got the ball left hand corner of the area, shaped it onto his right and bent it beautifully round Trubin, and Real Madrid lead in the Estadio de Luz, and it's a corker from Vinicius Junior. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1.
Oh, that's elite level. That's Champions League level for Vinicius Junior. Collects the ball on the left-hand side. You cannot let him come on to that right foot. He's given the opportunity to see the gap, but still to produce what he has there is stunning. A fantastic curling, whipping strike past Trubin into the right-hand side top corner. It's absolutely beautiful from Vinicius Junior. And he's really opened this game up with a flash of brilliance.
Well, no goalkeeper in the world was going to get anywhere near that. It was dipping way over the outstretched right hand of Anatoly Trubin and nestled in the top corner of the net. Wonderful hit from Vinicius Junior. That's 8 goals in 9 Champions League appearances. His 117th Real Madrid goal since he moved from Flamengo back in 2018. He did get a yellow card for over-celebrating, though, I think, from the French referee.
Well, he was surprised. I think he felt as if once he'd celebrated, he maybe went back and celebrated again, but surely it couldn't be for the Roger Miller style celebration around the corner flag.
Well, a yellow card it was. And there's still a lot of jostling in and around the celebrations for the goal. Benfica players unhappy at that celebration that Vinicius Junior made, but it wasn't like Emmanuel Adebayor scoring at one end and running all the way to the other end.
We're not too sure exactly what he's done, but I mean, if a goal deserves celebrating, that's one of those. It's just whether he's then turned again. But to be honest, I mean, there was things being thrown at him rather than him enticing the opposition crowd.
Well, the referee has got his arms in an X position, just crossed his arms. And Vinicius Junior is very unhappy with something that's happened out there. There's fingers pointing from Federico Valverde, and Vinicius Junior wants to walk off the field here. I think he's maybe encountered something or heard something that unfortunately has distressed him. And at the moment, he appears to have no desire to continue. Now, Arbeloa has come out onto the pitch to talk to the French referee. And there's going to be a yellow card for a member of the Benfica coaching staff for getting a bit too aggressive as he got to the edge of the... In fact, he's been sent off, the member of Jose Mourinho's coaching staff. Meanwhile, Vinicius is talking to Jose Mourinho about what happened out there. And I think Jose Mourinho is acting as peacemaker. We're still waiting for the game to kick off, and it's confusion reigning at the Estadio de Luz after Vinicius had scored that quite beautiful goal to put Real Madrid 1-0 up. But he is very, very unhappy, not at being booked, but something I think was said to him, Dean Ashton, that has severely distressed him. And at the moment he's standing off the field, wanting nothing to do with proceedings, leaning on his own dugout.
No, well, we don't quite know where that has come from. I think Prestiani is one of the players that was being pointed at by Real Madrid players, but the referee's just trying to calm everything down and maybe get to the bottom of exactly what has happened. He's got the two captains together to talk about it, but you're right, Vinicius doesn't really have much of an interest in the game right now.
He's drinking water, he's moved away from the dugout, and whether there is a Benfica player that has distressed Vinicius, it's hard to say. The cameras at the moment are trained on Prestiani, and it appears that we are now going to settle down and get the game restarted.
Well, what I don't like the look of, as we've just seen on our monitor, is Prestiani, as Vinicius Junior comes towards him, he just pulls his shirt up and over his mouth, and then whatever has been said, as they did have an exchange of words before that, but then he pulls his shirt over his mouth and face and says something that really does make Vinicius react and go towards the referee.
Yeah, he ran straight to the French official and pointed out that something was said to him, and Jose Mourinho ended up having a word in Vinicius's right or left ear, and it appears to have not done the trick, because Vinicius is sat amongst the Real Madrid substitutes and he is not wishing to take any further part, and now Alvaro Arbeloa is once again deep in conversation with the referee. Mourinho pacing around the edge of his technical area, looking fairly unmoved by what's going on, and the rest of the Real Madrid players are huddled around the edge of the technical area, and the referee deep in conversation with the Real Madrid manager. Mbappe now having a word, and it's clear that what the Real Madrid players and management want is action to be taken by the referee against maybe a Benfica player, whilst Vinicius continues to sit on the Real Madrid bench, not wishing to budge an inch. This is all very unseemly, what's going on at the moment. We've seen a red card for a member of the Benfica coaching staff. Everybody's just milling around the technical areas, whether players or staff, and now Arbeloa has beckoned Vinicius to him, who's got off the bench, and now they're having a conversation themselves, manager and star striker, as the referee waits just inside the touchline. Mbappe now having a strong word with Otamendi, lots of pointing and wagging of fingers there. Still the conversation goes on between Vinicius.
Well, I think we can establish that it's Prestiani that said something, because it's an instant response from Vinicius Junior. Straight away he's gone over towards the referee, and that is clearly, but we don't know what Prestiani has said, because he's covered his mouth with his shirt, so you would expect it to be something unsavoury.
Now Vinicius has re-entered the field of play, having been spoken to by his manager. 57 minutes on the clock, but there's going to be a while, I think, before this game restarts, and the game will restart with Real Madrid 1-0 up. But Vinicius, even though he's at the side of the pitch, he's having to speak to Real Madrid officials to be appeased, I think, because he's clearly very, very unhappy at something that's been said to him, and Prestiani appears to be the guilty party as far as Vinicius is concerned. Yeah, we're seeing a replay where as soon as he looks at Prestiani, who would appear to have said something to him, and instantly Vinicius runs full pelt towards Michel Letechier, the referee, to inform him of what he thinks has been said. Yeah, he hid his face with his shirt there, Prestiani, from the close-up we're seeing. And so we wait for play to restart. So from the joy of scoring the goal to the clear upset that Vinicius is displaying at the language he heard from a teammate. Now he appears to have come back onto the field of play and be willing to restart, but Prestiani still has plenty to say for himself as the players line up for the restart. And that's all very unfortunate. Oh, there's still more players having words with each other. Mbappe getting involved with Prestiani now. Otamendi saying to the referee, can't we just get on with it? And Prestiani is now going to be spoken to by the referee, having had long conversations with Alvaro Arbeloa and with Vinicius Junior. Prestiani is being spoken to very sternly by the referee, with Otamendi and Rafa Silva also in attendance. I don't think the referee's going to issue a yellow card. He's not. But a severe ticking off, I guess, is the best thing I can describe it as, that the referee has handed out to the midfielder. And Vinicius actually showing Barreiro what he thinks happened and what Prestiani did. So as the clock ticks around towards 60 minutes, we're finally back underway with a full complement of 11 against 11. Vinicius with that wonderful goal. It's 1-0 to Real Madrid, but that will not be the end of the incident between Gianluca Prestiani and Vinicius Junior.
No, without a doubt. And of course, with him putting his shirt over his mouth, whatever was exchanged was between Prestiani and Vinicius, which is why the referee
he can't
just...
No, he didn't hear anything.
He can't assume, but at the same time, I'm sure after the game we will hear exactly what was said, because it was very upsetting for Vinicius Junior.
Yeah, I've no doubt that more will be said and spoken about with regard to that incident. Bristol City 1, Wrexham 2 in the Championship. An own goal from Joe Williams has put Wrexham back in front of Ashton Gate, and Lincoln are now 4-0 up on Northampton Town. Ivan Varfolomeev with the third and Rob Street with the fourth. Playing really well at the moment, Lincoln City. Here's Arda Güler for Real Madrid, taking a drive into the box. It's cleared away. Güler again fires it into the box. Volleyed downfield by Dedic, and out of play for a throw to Real Madrid. And it's going to take a while, I would suggest, for the game to settle down again at 1-0 to Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's whichever set of players can settle back into the rhythm that they had. Arda Güler there with two poor efforts, one with the right foot and then a real slice with the left. When you know he's such a good technician, that was a surprise.
You're listening to Real Madrid 1-0 up at Benfica, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Whatever it is, they're here for it at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. 61 minutes gone, but there'll be a good deal of added time at the end of this game because of that incident following Vinicius' goal. Vinicius trying to get possession at the edge of the Benfica penalty area, but the hosts have it back. Touch back to Arsenal. Good early ball, almost released. Shoulder up. Super interception, though, at the back from Valverde. Now Trent Alexander-Arnold gives the ball back out to Valverde. Right-hand corner of the penalty area. Charmani across to Camavinga in the centre of the Benfica half. Quickly flicks it to his left for Carreras. Vinicius picks up the ball left-hand side and gets the boos from the home support. And those home supporters don't know what was said. They don't know what's going on. And yet they still decide that Vinicius is the villain. As down goes Camavinga trying to win the ball down the right-hand side of the box, pushes into Otamendi. Free kick to Benfica, just to the left of their own 18-yard box. 62 minutes gone. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1 on Talksport 2.
Well, and just the way it's balanced as well now, it is about temperament. It's about certainly trying to channel that aggression in the right way for both sets of players.
That's the voice of Dean Ashton alongside with Ian Danta. Vinicius again in possession on the halfway line, just keeps it away from the right back Dedic. He'll get it again, will he, on this halfway line? Indeed he is, fed bang on the halfway line, faced up by Dedic, runs along the halfway line and tries to drill a ball out to the Real Madrid right, but it's intercepted, and away comes Dahl for Benfica. Good sliding challenge from Valverde, and he's won a throw for his team as well, hitting it against the attacking player, shoulder up, and Real Madrid have a throw inside their own half.
Well, I think Alexander Arnold is going to love playing alongside Valverde. I mean, he just tucked himself in there when Alexander Arnold got high and wide, and then also whenever Trent Alexander-Arnold picks up the ball, Valverde's making a run just to open that space up so he can then get his head up and deliver with quality.
I mean, if he stays fit, Alexander-Arnold, he's on the plane, isn't he?
Oh, I'd like to think so. I'd hate to think of a talent such as his to be not on the plane.
Carreras for Real Madrid pulls it back from the dead ball line left hand side, but straight to Barrera. But then Barrera runs into Mbappe, who wins it back at the edge of the area, plays it across to Güler in the edge of the D. He's dispossessed in the nick of time by Benfica shirt, but then in slides Tchouameni. Good strong challenge from him. Referee sees nothing wrong with that as he wins the ball back. Spartans get a goal back at Dundee United in the Scottish Cup. Mark Stowe makes it Dundee United 2, the Spartans 1. You're with Talksport 2 with 25 minutes of normal time to play. Real Madrid 1-0 up. But after a wonderful goal, controversy with alleged comments made by Prestiani to the man in possession now, Vinicius, the goal scorer, who has not won a corner as he thought down that near side. It went out off him via the Benfica defender, and so it's a goal kick to the Portuguese.
Yeah, I think it's Real Madrid that have settled better, obviously taking the lead with a wonderful goal, but also after what happened, it just got right back into their rhythm and they're controlling the game now.
Territorially as well, they've had the ball in the Benfica half of the field much more than vice versa since the restart. And here is Valverde tucking the ball in field for Tchouameni. Now Huysen out to the left hand side, and it's with Camavinga. Vinicius gone into the middle this time. Camavinga knocks the ball back into square for Tchouameni, who just chips the ball out to Alexander-Arnold. He cushions the ball back to Valverde, midway point of the Benfica half. Alexander-Arnold takes over, rolls the ball back to Rudiger, just to the right of the centre circle. And then Huysen finds Alexander-Arnold again just over halfway. Strong run forward, ricochets off him, almost broke for Güler at the edge of the area, but rolls through to the keeper. 1-0 Real Madrid.
There just isn't the chaos, is there, of the previous match for Benfica. The game is just drifting by with Real Madrid in control, looking like they're the ones that will get a second.
And as you mentioned, Pavlidis is feeding off scraps, even now struggling to have an influence on the game up front for Benfica. Georgi Sudakov, the Ukrainian, is going to come on shortly for Benfica, on loan from Shakhtar, the attacking midfielder. We'll see who he's going to come on for. But here's Rudiger in the centre circle for Real Madrid. Fires the ball into the feet of Alexander-Arnold. Has to knock it back for Valverde, who again has switched roles. Gives the ball back to Courtois. Now out to the left-hand side in Carreras. Run being made down the left-hand side by Mbappe. Brings the ball out the sky superbly. Vinicius wants it played inside, but Mbappe trying to go past the defender. That's good defending by Dedic. Stayed on his feet and won the ball back for the hosts. And then a little challenge won by Prestiani, trying to release Rafa Silva in a race with Rudiger down the right-hand side of the area. Plays it across the box, shoulder up, will pick it up, left-hand side of the area. Pavlidis wants the ball played in, just goes over his head pushed away by Courtois from where Pavlidis was lurking at the far post. Dahl knocks it back to Arsnes, and now Barreiro finds Arsnes again out to the left wing, shoulder up, level with the 18-yard line. Elects not to try and go past Alexander-Arnold. Instead it's back with Arsnes, the Norwegian midfielder. Barreiro, good firm ball across to Araujo, down the right hand side of the box. Dedic pulls the ball back, Rafa Silva deflects into the path of Pavlidis, but he couldn't turn and get the shot on goal as he picked it up with his back to the net. And Real Madrid will get it clear after a couple of minutes of sustained pressure from Benfica that comes to nothing, Dean Ashton.
And just typical, isn't it, when it finally falls to Pavlidis, he's just not ready, he can't sort his feet out, just allows the ball to get away from him. Hyson was there just to flick it away.
Comeback complete for Paris Saint-Germain from 2-0 down in Monaco. They're now 3-2 up. Desiree Doué with his second and PSG's third. Now Mbappe's getting whistles as well as Vinicius Junior whenever he gets possession. Here's Tchouaméni. Infield to Camavinga, lays it off to Valverde, drives the ball out to Vinicius in the left wing, but he immediately touches it back to Hyson. Valverde across to Alexander-Arnold, back into the centre circle for Rudiger. And now fired downfield for Carreras to give chase up against Araujo, but the Benfica centre-half does well, but there's one back by Carreras. Vinicius drives into the area, same position from where he scored, just chips it up looking for Mbappe around the penalty spot, half cleared. Vinicius again with a drive, well saved, low down to his right by Trubin. 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, it will now, isn't it, really? Real Madrid are getting that space with Vinicius and Mbappe. Vinicius again, it fell, caught it lovely on the side volley, low to Trubin's right. Comfortable save, but still really well struck.
Georgi Sudakov's been waiting a good 4 or 5 minutes to come on for Benfica. Still he waits because the ball simply hasn't gone out of play. Here's Araujo with a strong run from centre-half. Feeds it down the right-hand side for Dedic. Pull back into the area. Prestiani trying to make a nuisance of himself, but it's cleared away quite calmly in the end by Hyson, and Vinicius with a lovely ball infield to find Goulet in the middle of his own half. Vinicius has gone again for a return pass down the left wing, but they're just popping passes about shy of the halfway line of Real Madrid with Trent out to this near side, and Mbappe just goes inside the left back Dahl, but touch was too firm and Benfica win it back, and it's still not gone out of play to allow Sudakov to come on. Here's Arsnes on halfway, sees Dedic in a bit of space. Amar Dedic powering forward again for Benfica, plays the ball infield to Prestiani, wriggles away from Goulet up to the edge of the area, into the feet of Pavlidis at the edge of the D. Again he's back to goal, he can't turn and get a shot away, and once again Real Madrid bring it clear, and it's Arda Goulet looking early for Vinicius down the left wing. Mbappe's just held his run at the moment as Vinicius picks it up and runs at Barreiro into the area. Still going Vinicius, still going, and tries a shot with the outside of his right boot that's tipped behind for a corner kick by Trubin. 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, super break, wasn't it? Goulet with a stunning outside of the left foot pass down the left wing for Vinicius. Just tries to catch Trubin out with a little toe poke. Did well, the goalkeeper, to pat it away, but again it's all Real Madrid. Pavlidis, no space on the edge of the area, and then 2 passes later Vinicius having a strike at goal.
So a corner kick for Real Madrid away to the right hand side. Goulet to take it, left-footed outswinger. Several Real Madrid players around the penalty spot. Only Vinicius is in the box. Here comes the corner, deep to the far post. Mbappe picks it up at the right-hand corner of the area. Plays a ball on his left, trying to find Goulet on the left-hand side. It was straight onto the head of Barreiro, but his header clear was poor. And Real Madrid just elect to fire it all the way back to Thibaut Courtois. He passes up to Tchouaméni to shy the halfway line. Good ball into the feet of Camavinga, who turns away from Arsnes, then puts the afterburners on, gets to the right-hand corner of the area, forgets to take the ball with him in the end, Eduardo Camavinga. And then Rafa Silva gets in a tussle with Camavinga. Shoulder up, comes away with the ball for Benfica. And now Pavlidis tries to get away down the left-hand side. He's taken Rudiger out there with him. Tries to knock it back to shoulder up and it goes out of play for a Benfica throw. Real Madrid still 1-0 up.
And even though it is 1-0, it is so well balanced. You just feel as if Benfica are pushing, of course, for the equaliser, but there's spaces for Real Madrid on the counter-attack.
So Rafa Silva has come off, and Richard Rios, the Colombian who joined from Palmeiras in July, he's come on, as well as Georgi Sudakov, and shoulder up is the other player that's making way. So shoulder up and Silva off, Sudakov and Rios on for Benfica, trying to get themselves level in this first leg, giving them something to take back to the Bernabeu a week tomorrow, a game you can hear live on Talksport 2. Bristol City equalised in the last minute in the Championship against Wrexham. That's 2-2. Max Bird, just back in the Bristol City squad, gets the equaliser at Ashton Gate. Here's Rios, his first involvement. Finds Sudakov, left-hand corner of the penalty area for Benfica. Both substitutes combining early. Little flick ball in field for Arsnes into the area. Prestiani tucks it back out to the left wing. Kept in play by the dead ball line by Sudakov. Prestiani still out there with him. Ball played into the area looking for Arsnes. Vinicius turns. Can he get away from Barreiro? No, he can't. Important foot in from Barreiro and from Dedic on the right-hand side to keep possession for Benfica, getting the crowd a bit more involved here. 1-0 to Real Madrid. Cardiff City 4, AFC Wimbledon 1. Convincing for the leaders of League One. Amari Kellyman with the fourth for the Bluebirds. Here's Dedic coming in field. Strike at goal, which deflected almost into the path of Sudakov. But Trent will bring the ball down, hits a full 60-yard ball downfield looking for Vinicius, but that's well dealt with at the back by Otamendi. And then passed straight out of play by Barreiro, but it came off a Real Madrid player. Benfica throw. Quarter of an hour of normal time to go, plus what will be a fair chunk of added time. Dean Ashton alongside me. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1.
Yeah, they're going to find it in themselves, haven't they, to push again. Benfica without conceding that space on the counter, which Real Madrid are looking for, and they thrive off it, being in this position with Vinicius Junior and Mbappe just staying high.
Dedic slides the ball down the right-hand side of the area. Prestiani checks neatly onto his left, gives it back to Dedic, rolls it in field looking for Arsnes, but the ball was cleared by Chouameni and hit the referee, so Real Madrid will get the ball back with an uncontested drop ball as we move into that last 15 minutes of normal time. Full times will start to come in a moment from the 7:45 kickoffs in the EFL. I'll let you know who's done what. And we have more Champions League football for you tomorrow night here on Talksport 2 from 5:30. Karabag against Newcastle United. That's a 5:45 kickoff. And we've got Wolves against Arsenal as a Premier League bonus for you tomorrow night on Talksport from Molineux. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff in the West Midlands. Benfica in possession, a goal down. Arsnes and Barreiro, the defensive midfielders, on the halfway line exchanging passes. Now Dahl, the left back. Sudakov holding the near touchline, the left-hand touchline, wanting it played to. Now he comes in field as Rios, the Colombian substitute, plays it out to Araujo. And a ball slid down the right-hand side of the box that found nobody at all. Just goes straight out of play for a goal kick to Real Madrid as Salford get a goal back, but all too late at home to Newport. Salford 1, Newport 3, Ben Woodburn. Exeter equalise against Wickham in stoppage time at St James Park through Jaden Wareham. And Real Madrid have 13 minutes plus added time to take a lead back to the Spanish capital, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I tell you what, they have defended well though, Real Madrid. I think, like I said, that midfield three of Valverde, Tchouameni and Camavinga really give that solid look when they drop in front of the back four. Hyson and Rudiger have done very well. As
Prestiani to the dead ball line, right hand side, goes down under pressure from Camavinga, and he's going to get a yellow card for simulation. Is Gianluca Prestiani. Free kick to Real Madrid, and Prestiani protests his innocence. He says that Camavinga had a hold of his left arm, but the referee unmoved. No penalty and a yellow card for diving. What say you, Dean Ashton, from the replays that we're now seeing on our monitors?
Well, I think the referee gets it totally right. There's not enough there, and it's the way, the theatrical nature of the fall. You're trying to create a fall that isn't there. You're trying to create the image of a pullback from Camavinga that just wasn't there. Well done, the referee, for spotting that.
Yellow card for Prestiani, who's been at the centre of some controversy in this second half. Something he said to Vinicius Junior in the wake of Vinicius scoring that wonderful, wonderful opener for Real Madrid. And there will be plenty more investigated about that, about what exactly he said to Vinicius that upset the Real Madrid goal scorer so much. But he's been booked. And here is Vinicius in the area again, getting another shot away, beaten away. Strong hands from Trubin. And then the ball goes out of play for a Benfica throw. Barnsley have beaten Peterborough by 2-1 in League One. Good result for Barnsley, who had no winning 3 before tonight. But still 1-0 to Real Madrid. And Vinicius testing Trubin again, but this time the goalkeeper equal to it.
Of course, you want to not show him onto his right foot, but it's just the pace and the change of direction that's so difficult to defend against, and then all of a sudden he's got the snapshot away through into his left-hand side with another decent save.
Sidney Lopez Cabral, who's just joined from Estrella de Amadora, and scored a goal against his old club last month, the Cape Verde midfielder, and can play at wing-back as well. He's come on for Arsenal, and there's another change coming up as well for Benfica. And Prestiani, who will be the subject of quite a few column inches, I suspect, in the coming hours and days, has been taken off by Jose Mourinho. And Dodi Lukebakio, the Belgian who joined from Sevilla at the start of the season, he's on in his place for the last 10 minutes of normal time, plus whatever the referee deems necessary to add on for the incidents that followed Vinicius' goal. 1-0 to Real Madrid. Cardiff have beaten Wimbledon 4-1. Fleetwood have won by a goal to nil in League 2 at Crewe. Exeter 1, Wycombe 1 as a full-time score. Lincoln keeping the pressure on Cardiff at the top of League 1. They've beaten Northampton 4-0. The leaders of League 2, Bromley, held at home by Cheltenham. That's finished 1-1. And here comes Lockerbacchio, and the try from Sidney Lopez Cabral. Couldn't keep it down as he ran onto it midway point of the Real Madrid half, just chanced his arm, and it went well high and wide, and not particularly a handsome goal kick to Real Madrid, but a statement of intent from the Benfica substitute. 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, nice and sharp to get onto the ball, but just a little bit too anxious to strike early. Wasn't set, wasn't balanced, hence why it went sailing wide. But they need something different. That's why the changes have been made, because it just didn't look like they were going to create anything.
Doncaster have beaten Huddersfield in the Yorkshire Derby. That's no winning 4 now for Huddersfield. Burton Albion have beaten Rotherham by a goal to nil. Shrewsbury have beaten Notts County by a goal to nil. At either end of the table, it's finished 2-2 at Ashton Gate in the Championship. So neither Bristol City nor Wrexham, I don't think, as it stands, have gone back into the playoff positions in the Championship with that 2-2 scoreline. Indeed, Derby have stayed 6th. Wrexham are level on 48 points, but have a slightly inferior goal difference, +5 to +8. Portsmouth still winning at Charlton, but we're waiting for the full-time whistle there. 8 minutes to go at the Estadio de Luz. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1. Alexander-Arnold sent a throw in, and Dahl was being manhandled by Valverde. Free kick quickly awarded by the French referee. And Newport County have won 3-1 at Salford. That's bottom of League 2, beating 6th in League 2 after no winning 5 for Christian Fuchs in his first managerial job in this country. Ball's out of play for a Benfica throw. Well, he's played his hand, Jose Mourinho, Dean Ashton. He's made multiple changes to try and affect things and maybe just try and get an even scoreline to take back to Spain next week.
Yeah, which feels important, doesn't it? And with it only being 1-0, can you create a couple of chances?
It's a good footing by Barreiro, who got caught in the face, and Rudiger just forced to lash it clear and out of play for a throw. No real panic from Real Madrid just yet, because they haven't really had a sustained spell of pressure from their hosts. But I'll be interested to see just how deep Real Madrid drop as we get closer to the 90-minute mark.
But they can with that midfield. They'll be more than comfortable just to sit there in front of their back four. And they've gone to more of a two banks of four, actually, when they are defending, and just allowing then Mbappe and Vinicius Junior to stay high.
Pavlidis drives a lovely ball out to Cabral, left-hand corner of the area, tries to step inside his man, works it back to the edge of the box. Rios, the Colombian, went to drive it, was caught by Vinicius. Free kick to Benfica, just outside the area, to the right of the D, will favour a left-footed drive. And now Mourinho is off his feet, telling the fourth official that Vinicius should be punished much more for that challenge on Rios.
No, he shouldn't. Vinicius is trying to get back to defend, just tries to put his foot there, and actually Rios then kicks the side of Vinicius' leg. It is a foul, because he's going to take the strike and he's not allowed to, but it's certainly not a yellow card, but it's a dangerous position for Benfica.
A yellow card for Jose Mourinho for having too much to say to the fourth official. In fact, he's been sent off. He's had a second yellow. And Jose Mourinho's lost his cool on the touchline. And now he's got to disappear, take his pad and paper and his phone and disappear off to a different part of the stadium. Lost his cool there, the special one.
Well, lost his cool, or deflecting away from the result.
I don't think he's going to be allowed to sit in the row behind the technical area. I think he's got to go into a different part of the stadium. That's where he's gone to sit after that double yellow card was issued by the referee. And Mourinho, as usual, part of the story in a Champions League fixture. But the referee was quick to brandish the two yellows. And Mourinho appears to be being allowed to stay where he sat. And what it leads to is a free kick for Benfica. Goulet has just gone off to be replaced by the former Manchester City man Brahim Diaz, former academy graduate at the Etihad. But his first job is to be the draft excluder in the Real Madrid wall. Well, what an introduction as a substitute.
Is that a specialist substitute just for that role, and then they go back off?
Yeah, there's finishers and then there's draft excluders on the bench. So a free kick. Cabral is standing over it, so too is Sudakov. Mbappe's just been booked for not getting 10 yards clear of the ball. So the yellow cards are starting to pile up a little bit. Mbappe has joined Vinicius in the notebook. And now there's going to be another yellow card issued. Oh no, the referee's put his cards away. Now he wants to make sure everybody's standing behind the spray, because a few Real Madrid players have just got their toes poking over the edge of that vanishing spray put down in the penalty area. 3 minutes of normal time to go. Will it be Sudakov or Sidney Lopez Cabral to drive it? Right foot or left foot? It will be Cabral, left foot into the wall, deflects in the air and lands on the roof of the net. And Courtois was backpedaling desperately in case it dropped the wrong side of the crossbar for him, but it landed on the roof of the net. But it is a corner to Benfica, 1-0 Madrid.
Yeah, Cabral with a decent effort. It just skims off Carreras' head. And you're right, Courtois all of a sudden, like when you get on the sand and it's too hot, and he was just scurrying back onto land. Luckily he went on the roof of the net.
Benfica's corner, headed strongly clear at the near post by Valverde. But Cabral keeps it alive for Benfica. Chip back into the danger zone. Up goes Courtois and catches, just pats it down one-handed and clutches hold of it gratefully. Good goalkeeping.
Brilliant, wasn't it? Almost basketball-esque, wasn't it? The way he just jumped and sort of palmed it to himself.
Very casual.
Very.
Swindon have won at Barnet in League 2, having been behind. Rochdale, bidding to go back to the top of the National League, have ended up a 1-1 draw with Scunthorpe. And it's 1-0 to Real Madrid at the Estadio de Luz, as we are close to finding out just how many minutes are going to be added on by the French referee for what happened in the immediate aftermath of Vinicius' wonderful goal, when Gianluca Prestiani then said something, we don't know what, to Vinicius Jr. that deeply upset the goal scorer, and he was temporarily refusing to restart the game until a number of conversations between individuals appeared to sort out the situation. But I don't think it's going to stay at what we saw on the pitch. There'll be plenty more said in the aftermath, I'm sure, by many an individual. Prestiani since substituted. Vinicius still getting the boos from the crowd, chases after a ball down the left-hand side, but Benfica get it clear. Handball by Carreras, quite clearly. So a free kick to Benfica, 30 seconds of normal time to play. Here is Sudakov, looking early, down the left-hand side maybe for Cabral, but in the end leaves it for Dahl. Now Barreiro. Dahl tucks it back to Otamendi, but an untidy pass. Dahl gets it back up to the halfway line, and Cabral, neat 1 and 2 touch football. Now Sudakov advances into the Real Madrid half, just drifts away from Chouameni, gets it back on a 1-2 from Pavlidis, tees up Rios at the edge of the box. Now it's out to the right hand side, across the face of goal, and just couldn't find a teammate there. The cross came in from Luca Bacchio. Benfica win it back, right hand side of the box, but then it's brought away by Carrera, stayed on his feet as well. 12 minutes of minimum stoppage time is what we're into now on Talksport 2, as Vinicius wins a free kick down the left-hand side. That's how long Real Madrid are going to hold out with this 1-0 lead. How much pressure can the Eagles put on Real Madrid in these 12 minutes of added time that we're into now?
Well, it's a chance, isn't it? A real opportunity, especially for the freshness of the substitutes that have come on. They've made a difference. They've given them a little bit more energy and pace at the top end of the pitch for Benfica. Can they make use of it?
Here's Barreiro in the centre of his own half for Benfica. Up it goes to the halfway line, and Rios plays the ball out to the right wing. Luca Bacchio is going to have a run at Carreras here. He's got Dedic on the overlap, fires the ball into the area. Corner kick deflected off Camavinga. You're listening to Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Here's Dean Ashton.
They've just got to keep the momentum, haven't they? Don't give anything cheap away. Keep the momentum and just hope that that chance comes along and you can take it.
Corner kick from the right-hand side, swung into the near post, hits the first defender, cleared comfortably by Valverde, and Vinicius chasing after the loose ball, and he was caught as he won the ball, and Sudakov gets a yellow card for a professional foul. It wasn't denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity, because really Vinicius had barely made it to the halfway line, but I think Georgi Sudakov knew what he was doing. Free kick, 1-0 Real Madrid.
Well, he just didn't judge the flight of the ball as quickly as Vinicius Jr. did, and he was onto it. Just took it away from Sudakov, who then clashed shins with him. Real Madrid have just got to use all that experience they've got to try and keep possession, take their time with everything, see this game out.
2 minutes of the minimum 12 have gone. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1 on Talksport 2. Real Madrid preparing a substitute. I'll tell you who that is in just a moment. But I think they're going to bring on Pitash, one of the youngsters from the academy for Real Madrid. So 1-0 to the Madridistas. going deep into added time here. 3 minutes of the minimum 12 have gone. And here is Ricardo Rios for Benfica, trying to feed the ball forward, but it's won back by Huysen, making a strong run over the halfway line. Mbappe going through the centre, just left-hand side of the box, and it's gone out of play for a corner. Araujo got the final touch. Corner kick to Real Madrid, and they lead 1-0.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it? Because no Real Madrid team are just going to completely sit back. Mbappe and Vinicius are still going to look to be proactive on the counter-attack to get that second goal.
So Thiago Pitach is going to make a debut for Real Madrid from the academy side. And Vinicius Junior, well, there's two balls on the pitch. Camavinga is the player that's being withdrawn to allow Thiago Pitach to come on. Spain under-20 defensive midfielder. What place to make your debut in the Stadium of Light, trying to help your team hold on to a 1-0 Champions League win.
Isn't it just? Plenty of confidence in the young man.
18 years of age, Thiago Pitach, wearing number 45 for Real Madrid. So he's lurking at the edge of the area for this corner kick for Real Madrid. Plenty of blue shirts forward. They're not just hanging back and playing out time, and not going to play a short corner and try and protect it either. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Oh, there's a mobile phone that's been thrown onto the pitch and narrowly avoided hitting Chouameni inside the area, and the referee has been handed the phone by Aurelien Chouameni and taking it to the near touchline. Well, it's very sad to see when missiles get launched. Remember Wayne Rooney having a mobile thrown at him at Anfield some years ago. Why would you throw a phone? Why?
I've got no idea.
Earth possesses somebody.
Absolutely. Look, it's difficult for the referee. He wants to try and get through this game. They're not helping things, the Benfica supporters.
So 5 minutes of the 12 have gone. Still we wait for the corner to be taken. In it comes now from Alexander-Arnold, caught just in front of his goal line by Trubin, and he'll clear from hands. Long downfield, looking for Lukabakiu to chase. Won't get there. Cleared it to halfway and hooked forward by Chouameni, but it heads down the left-hand side for Benfica, and Cabral works the ball in field. Sudakov turns away from Thiago Pitach. Now Sidney Lopez Cabral again, level with the 18-yard line, left-hand side. Works it back to Dahl. Early ball up to the edge of the area. Sudakov holding off the midfielder. Still got it, Georgi Sudakov. Just won't sit for Lukabakiu. And Real Madrid win it back. Lovely ball. Mbappe receives it just on the halfway line. Motoring in field. Vinicius to his left. Receives it now at the edge of the area. Faced up by Araujo. Tries to go round and can't do so. Holds play up. And will head out to the corner flag now, Vinicius, and then turns away from Araujo and works it back down the touchline and keeps the ball alive for Real Madrid, who lead 1-0 with 6.5 minutes of the 12 added having gone.
What a nice outlet to have, isn't it, for the Real Madrid players when they're defending, just to play that up to Mbappe or Vinicius, and they can just get you right up the pitch and take away some of the minutes of these 12 that have been added.
Paris Saint-Germain have won in Monaco. Having been 2-0 down, they've won it 3-2. A couple of goals from Desiree Doué coming on from the bench this evening. Real Madrid in possession inside their own half, leading by 1-0. Rudiger. Now Pitach, Valverde playing the ball into Pitach in the centre circle. Now picked up by Kylian Mbappe. Moving in about second gear down the inside left channel, then calmly lays it out left to Vinicius. Carreras, the former Benfica man, plays it into Chouameni. Now Pitach got Barreiro at his back, so works it back to Huysen on halfway. Possession being 9/10 of the law for Real Madrid at the moment. They're waiting to bring on Dani Carvajal at the next break in play for Real Madrid to add to their defensive solidity. for these last few minutes, protecting this 1-0 lead that they have in the Estadio de Luz. Lovely run from Charmani over halfway, carrying it beyond Barrero, out to the left-hand side of Vinicius, who elects not to go outside his man, just calmly knocks it back 10 yards. And again, they're just keeping the ball here, Dean Ashton, running the clock down.
Yeah, brilliant game management. Why not go as if you're going to attack, come back, recycle, just keep the ball moving. And just so frustrating when you want to try and mount some kind of momentum.
And Vinicius wins a free kick after he was pulled by Dedic on that far side of the field. So more seconds to be eaten up. This will allow the change to be made by Alvaro Arbeloa. So Danny Carvajal is going to be introduced, and it's Carreras who's going off. So a right back for a left back, but I'm assuming that Carvajal will go across and vacate that left back space that Carreras has vacated. Meantime, Bolton Wanderers have equalised deep into added time at Reading. Mason Burstow, one-time Chelsea Academy graduate, has got the equaliser for the Trotters to maintain their unbeaten run, it seems, at the Select Car Leasing. They're still playing there. It's 1-1. Still playing at the Estadio de Luz. 9 minutes of minimum 12 elapsed. Real Madrid edging towards a 1-0 victory. A wonderful goal from Vinicius Junior, but that will not be the main talking point that comes out of this first leg. Ahead of the rematch at the Bernabeu a week tomorrow, live on Talksport 2. Have Benfica got anything left in this first leg to take something to the Spanish capital? It's with them on the halfway line with Dahl, the left back. Plays it along the halfway line to Araujo. Firm pass out to Dedic on the right-hand side, who's seen a lot of the ball on that right-hand side for Benfica. Now it's back with the veteran Otamendi. Carries the ball just over the halfway line. Pass out to the left wing, and Sidney Lopez Cabral, early ball, whipped into the penalty area, but there's nobody there in Benfica red to get onto it. Luca Bacchio trying to make a nuisance of himself against Carvajal. Ball's gone behind, well defended, goal kick Real Madrid. Carvajal showing all his years of experience to protect that ball behind.
Yeah, and his strength as well. Really clever from Carvajal. And they look like they're just going to comfortably breeze through these extra 12 minutes, Real Madrid. They've been excellent defensively, that's for sure.
Otamendi and Vinicius sharing a joke on halfway. I think Otamendi was reminding Vinicius earlier that Argentina won the World Cup against France in Russia, or Qatar rather, in 2022. I think he's got a tattoo to prove it. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold for Real Madrid, playing a deep ball from right to left. He's picked out Mbappe, who's brought the ball down somehow as the ball was going over his right shoulder. He's kept it at the dead ball line, and he's won a corner for Real Madrid. That's brilliant play from the French star.
Yeah, it was a great pass, actually. Alexander-Arnold meant that over to Mbappe. Gorgeous first touch. And again, Araujo's tried his best, but given away a corner. Missiles being thrown towards Vinicius, who's gone over to take that corner.
Yep, there's a few plastic beer cups being launched in his direction, and the referee asking Vinicius to spot the ball down. I don't think he wants to go anywhere near that corner flag at the moment, and again, very unseemly. So the 12 minutes are nearly up. Finally, the ball's been returned from that far side. There's more plastic beer cups being thrown in the general direction of Vinicius. Thankfully, none of them have made contact. But it's another depressing example of supporter behaviour, and how dim a view will UEFA take of those scenes, not least the allegations that will come about what Gianluca Prestiani said towards Vinicius, who's still wanting to take the corner, and there's still beer cups being rained down. One just narrowly missed Trent and Vinicius at that corner flag. The 12 minutes of minimum added time have been played, and still the insults fly at the Real Madrid number 7 from that near touchline. Finally, the corner comes in, punched away by the goalkeeper, and Benfica try and bring it clear through Sudakov. Ball in field to Pavlidis, who's had a quiet game, gives it away to Valverde. Federico Valverde and Mbappe down the right-hand side of the box. The cross is deflected and Benfica win it back. And the referee blows the full-time whistle. And Real Madrid take a 1-goal lead to the Bernabeu for next week's second leg. Alvaro Arbeloa gets one over on his former manager, Jose Mourinho. Vinicius Jr. with the only goal of the game, and it was a super goal. But it was what happened in the aftermath of that wonderful right-footed curling strike that will grab the headlines, as Gianluca Prestiani, the Benfica midfielder, appeared to say something to Vinicius as they were heading back to the halfway line that severely distressed Vinicius Jr. and the Brazilian striker seemed to be refusing to restart play. Such was his distress at what he'd heard, and after a good 10 minutes of delay, play did restart, and from that point on, Real Madrid stayed in control of the tie, and deservedly, on the football we've seen, Dean Ashton, are 1-0 up going into the second leg.
Yeah, I thought they were excellent, just the way they managed the whole game and that situation as well with their teammate Vinicius Jr. What a goal to decide any game. Absolutely magnificent strike from Vinicius Jr. Of course, incredibly unsavoury what he's experienced, and then from the Benfica supporters, which I'm sure UEFA will look at, but a real top European away performance by Real Madrid. Defensively gave Benfica absolutely nothing.
So Benfica cannot make lightning strike twice in the Estadio de Luz and win a game against Real Madrid. So they will have a very difficult job a week tomorrow, Dean, in the Bernabeu to try and turn this around. But with Jose Mourinho at the helm, he always has a plan, but he got sent off tonight, so he won't be on the touchline, I'm assuming, at Bernabeu Stadium a week tomorrow.
No, it got the better of him, didn't it? The whole situation wasn't going his way. Even the substitutes didn't make a difference, and it's going to be such a difficult task to go to the Bernabeu and get anything. I don't think they will. I think that was the performance Real Madrid needed.
Well, that was the full-time score. The second leg will be live on Talksport 2 a week tomorrow. It is time now for Dean Ashton to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
OK then, Dean, it's your call. Where's your vote going?
I'm actually going to give it to Tchouaméni. I thought just defensively when it was needed, the amount of times he broke up play and allowed Real Madrid to get up the pitch, and then driving from midfield, that energy that he needed to show. It wasn't an easy game, this, to get through. Yes, of course, there was flashes of brilliance, but I thought his all-round performance was excellent at the heart of the midfield.
There you go. Aurélien Tchouaméni gets the nod as our man of the match. Here For It hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here For It. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
So don't forget, more live football tomorrow. Tea time from the Champions League. Newcastle in Azerbaijan to take on Karabakh. That's a 5:45 kickoff with our coverage starting at 5:30 here. Wolves against Arsenal is live on Talksport tomorrow night. They're just about to get the sports bar underway on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking the calls on all of tonight's football, including Champions League and EFL. 03717 22 3344. My thanks to Dean Ashton for being with us tonight for our Talksport 2 Champions League commentary. And it's finished ahead of the second leg in the Bernabeu. Real Madrid have the advantage after the first leg. It's finished. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1.